Good. All right, you guys. Good, Miles? Good?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, good. Everyone, thank you for being here tonight. It's the Town of Poolesville's Commissioner meeting for April 20th, 2026. We've got a full agenda of things to talk about tonight, and we're going to kind of go in order so we can let you guys, everybody will have a chance to speak that wants to talk about something. When we do get to the public hearing part of things, you're limited to 3 minutes. So if you can handle that, great. If you're right at the end of your speech or your conversation at 3 minutes and you want to talk a couple seconds longer, I'll be good with that too. If you plan on testifying during the public hearing, there's a sign-up sheet right there where Mr. Goldberg is and signing. And if you'll just sign that, and then I'll go in the same order that the names are signed up on. And we'll give it one more second to see more people walking in. You okay? We're good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. Again, if you're interested in speaking on one of the two public hearings we're having tonight, if you would sign up at the sign-up sheet, and then, again, we'll call your name out when it comes time. I know you guys are a lot of here for the swimming proclamation. We're glad you made it. You former swimmers should be proud. All right, very good. All right, Ed, if you don't mind, I know you, can you stand?
Yeah, I stand up.
Okay, good. You can lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sure, absolutely. All right, let's go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
We've ever had.
We've gotten off to a great start.
Oh, you got standing room only, huh?
All right, first up on our agenda tonight, love all the tough stuff that we have to talk about, love all the fun stuff we have to talk about, love the way we get to communicate with all of our residents. It's awesome. Thank you for everybody that's here tonight. And if you're here for the swim proclamation, and I know it might be a whole group of you, I ask that you just stand up and stand right over there by where those pictures are so we can do a proclamation right there. Everybody that wants to be a part of the picture, come on over and do it. Be a part of the fun. Yes, Principal Carruthers, that's you too. Oh, gotcha. Thank you for recruiting her.
What's up, Coach?
Coach Leong, get him up there, buddy.
parents?
You recruited him.
Yep.
Parents want too big. All right, and then commissioners, if you want to stand beside me or stay down here, it's up to you.
Sure.
Tom, the next sheet over.
Almost had it.
Oh, is that one?
Yeah, for that one, leave it. Because there's also this public.
All right.
Line up here, here we go.
All right, so. My wife's last reminder, bring your glasses. All right, so tonight, we are here to honor one of our state champions. And that is something that I wish we got a chance to do more often, but when we get a chance to do it, it's awesome. And we have just as much pride in you guys and the hard work that you put in as any of the groups that attend Poolesville High School, any of the sports teams. We know it's an all-out effort. We really, the town works hard to make it good for you guys, and we know you guys work hard to achieve, and we're greatly appreciative of it. Especially Coach Leong, this is, you guys, you're an icon here. This guy's probably won more championships, state championships than any other coach in Montgomery County history. Is it close?
In one sport, it's almost.
Okay.
Go to the lane four and swim fast and they do it.
That's making it sound too easy, but we know that's not true. There's a lot of heavy coaching, but there's a lot of heavy achieving. Okay, so I'm going to read a proclamation for you. We actually have little paper ones for you to take with you, but we have a framed one that we'll give to Coach Leong, and he can put it in his office or wherever he wants to. Do you have an office, John?
It goes on the back of the classroom with the rest of the brag.
Okay, all right, very good.
Swag.
All right, that's good. I love it. Glad we're part of the swag. All right, a proclamation of appreciation honoring the 2026 state champion Poolesville High School boys and girls swim team. Now, I almost never, I mean, you know, proclamation is no good if it comes in 2 pages. So this was a tough one. Look how, this one's completely filled up. There's too much to talk about with this group, but they deserve every bit of it. All right, whereas under the direction of Coach Jonathan Leong, the Poolesville High School girls and boys swim teams both won Maryland State Championships in 2026. Let's hear it. Yes. Whereas the 2026 PHS girls swim team won their eighth state championship, first since 2020. And whereas the 2026 boys won their third state championship in a row and their 13th state championship overall. That's amazing. That's another applause line right there. All right, now I'm going to read through the rest of this here. Whereas the 2026 Poolesville High School girls team broke the team record at states in the 2200 free relay thanks to the efforts of Sophie Huang, Christine Wang, Veronica Mitten, and Lillian Congdon. Thanks to those girls that did that. Whereas the 2026 Poolesville High School boys team broke several individual and team records, including Ethan Lee in the 50 free and 100 free, Isaac Solis in the 200 individual medley, Christian Ivoroni Garza in the 100 breaststroke, and one team record in the 400 free relay, thanks to the relay team of Ethan Lee, James Lawrence, Isaac Solis, Eli Ferrara, and all of them also broke the 3.82818 state meet record. So that is awesome, and I know that, I assume you guys aren't on the team. So if you guys could just give us your names of the three so we know what we're talking about. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm Brady.
Yeah, I know who you are, Brady. Benjamin, last name? Okay, gotcha.
And I'm Eli Ferrara.
Eli, very good. All right, thank you guys for coming up tonight. Whereas the 2026 members of the Poolesville High School swim team have contributed 80 medals, individual and relay, since their freshman year in 2023, with 2026 serving as the highest medal-winning year in Poolesville High School history. In addition, an incredible 92 different Poolesville High School swimmers have medaled in state championship meets since 2012. Whereas the Poolesville High School swimming program has produced 3 All-American and Poolesville Hall of Fame swimmers, Christine Chang, Kirk Jackson, and Kara Chang. And whereas the Poolesville High School swim team is known for its intense, long-standing, this is the part where you come in, Coach, intense, long-standing, and highly successful training program, including early morning practices and much personal and physical sacrifice for the good of the team, as well as helping the Poolesville Piranha squad grow and advance as a program. And whereas Coach Jonathan Leong recently named the National Federation of State High School Associations Coach of the Year, has established himself and his program. Let's hear it for Jonathan. Has established himself and his program as one of the winningest high school overall team programs in Maryland State high school history. Whereas through 2025, it must be commended that the Sarah E. Auer Scholarship Dollars awarded in honor of Sarah Auer and her family and funded through the Sarah Auer Mini-Meet now amount to an astounding total of $236,000. Those scholarships have been awarded to over 150 Poolesville High School senior swimmers since 2003. That's remarkable. Now, therefore, on the 20th day of April 2026, on behalf of the Commissioners of Poolesville, I, Jim Brown, President of the Commissioners of Poolesville, do hereby extend our community-wide appreciation and recognition to Coach Jonathan Leong and his 2026 Poolesville High School state champion swim teams for your successes and your incredible contributions to our community. You have our sincere thanks and best wishes for the future. Let's hear it for these guys.
Something for you guys. I know you like the original ones you've had at school from 19, how old do you think that banner is? It's a couple years old. Yeah. So here's your new, in addition to banner for you guys. Yeah.
Nice.
Mr. Hall, I'm glad you said in addition to, because Mr. Leon's too superstition for the other one to go with.
Oh, I know. In addition to. It's got a lot of history in that banner. A lot of W's.
Everybody got their pictures?
Yep.
All right, swim team, thank you. I've got copies of your proclamation. We're going to give you the official one. We'll do that on another day. But appreciate you guys being here. Here's copies of, please distribute it to your family and your friends. And it'll be in the newspaper along with your picture and everything else. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Awesome. Great job. Great
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you don't get to leave yet because we have a bit of a surprise. It's probably not a surprise because you can't put anything past her, but we're also going to honor Gina Grubb with a proclamation. You guys, if you don't know Gina Grubb, you got to get to know her because this is one of the absolute most important people in Poolesville. Not only has she been a leader since she first attended Poolesville High School back in,
It hasn't been that long.
when you were younger, right? But it was Poolesville Junior Senior High when you went there, yes, okay, well, just one for clarification, all good. So tonight, in case you guys didn't know, that Gina Grubb was named Athletic Director of the Year for her division. So that's amazing. So we have a proclamation for her. Whereas Gina Grubb, I'm just going to go Gina the rest of the way through. Is that okay? I don't know Regina. Has been named as the state's Maryland State Athletic Directors Association Athletic Director of the Year. And she's the first female to win that award in Montgomery County, so that's a big deal. Gina graduated from Poolesville Junior High School and after an outstanding athletic and academic high school career, and has continuously, tirelessly contributed to her alma mater and community for the last 34 years. Ooh, it's been that long. Including her own state championship while serving as varsity field hockey coach. She's a state champion. That's where I'm going with that. Whereas Gina Grubb has served the Poolesville High School community not only as an educator, but with great success as the athletic director for the last 8 years, in addition to 12 years as assistant athletic director and decades of service also as the Poolesville High School graduation coordinator. So if you graduated from there anytime, you probably had Gina help coordinate it. Thanks, Gina. Whereas the Poolesville High School Athletic Hall of Fame inducted Gina Grubb as a member in their first ever class in 2012. She couldn't be denied. Whereas Gina Grubb's detailed and targeted advocacy, and I can speak from this from the heart because we were in the room together, advocacy in the construction of the new Poolesville High School campus has created an incredible and equity-driven facility. We're still working on the equity part, and you know where we're going with that, that will serve as Poolesville High School students as well as our local sports programs at the highest level for the foreseeable future. For that, we are deeply indebted to all the work you did on that, Gina. You've been amazing. Whereas Gina Grubb has proven to be an outstanding partner in Poolesville and an invaluable contributor to the greater community, including playing a vital role in the naming and dedication of Howard Lyles Stadium and the Fred Swick Gymnasium. Whereas Gina Grubb has become a familiar face, and everybody in this room probably knows Gina, to thousands of community members, known for her warm smile, helpful attitude, and outstanding service to the community. It makes it easy for me to say now, therefore, on the 20th day of April 26th, on behalf of the Commissioner of Poolesville and the community, I, Jim Brown, President of the Poolesville Town Commissioners, do hereby extend our community-wide appreciation and recognition to Gina Grubb for her tireless work ethic and effective leadership and mentorship to all to the benefit of her students and the town of Poolesville. You have our sincere thanks and always our best wishes for the future. We love you, Gina Grubb. Back to the photo.
Stop talking.
That's
interesting. One more.
There you go. Thank you.
I know.
All right, you guys, give it for Gina Grubb. Principal Carruthers, I know it feels weird to come up here and not get an award. Next time, right, thank you for that, appreciate it.
Doesn't happen very often. Bar comes up and doesn't get any water,
Oh, I know, right?
What's that?
Slinking?
Oh, yeah, Slink, let the Slinkers go.
Away.
Slinkers, be gone.
Interesting parallel. We've celebrated our athletics, and now we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, let's tie it all together. Oh, don't forget, I have an Arbor Day presentation, too.
Oh, wow. We've really stacked this.
You're rolling, aren't you?
I told you it was going to be busy. Okay. All right, all right.
Oh, but I should have.
All right, thank you, everybody, for being a part of that. That was amazing, and we love those guys. We actually have two public hearings we're going to do tonight. One is on the proposed Cultural Arts District, and the other is going to be on the solar energy generating stations ordinance number 223. I have some official things I need to read to get us started. Keep in mind, when we do this public hearing, we are definitely listening. We had a lot of testimony in our last meeting about the proposed Cultural Arts District. We learned a lot. The purpose of us, this meeting, is just to listen. We won't be taking any action tonight. We're just going to hear what you have to say. And we appreciate everybody coming up here and taking the time to do it. All right, so I'm going to start the public hearing. I have to read this official statement, or else the guys will get mad at me. All right, good luck, good evening, good luck. Town of Poolesville opening statement. April 20th, 2026, ordinance number 231. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a public hearing on proposed ordinance number 231. The proposed ordinance would amend Appendix B zoning of the Poolesville Code to create a new Cultural Arts District, CAD, as a distinct zoning classification separate from the existing commercial, what we call PCOM zone. The amendment would establish the new district's permitted uses, development standards, and related regulations. The file for this public hearing contains the following exhibits: proposed ordinance number 231, notice of public hearing, and number 3, copies of the April 2 and April 9, 2026 issues of the Frederick News Post containing the notice of the public hearing. Any person wishing to do so may now testify or ask questions of the commissioners, which may be answered today or later by staff about the proposed ordinance number 231. Before providing your testimony, if you would please state your name and your address for the record. Unless otherwise allowed by the commissioners, you will have, this says up to 2 minutes to speak. Is it 2 or 3?
We've traditionally done 3 minutes, but whatever your
All
judgment.
right, so between 2 and 3 minutes, but we'll cap it at 3 minutes. Thank you for that. And do we have the sign-up sheet?
Yep.
Johnny? I'm going to miss having you here, man. Thank you. All right, so if by chance you signed the wrong sign-up sheet and you still wanted to talk about this, and I don't call your name off, go ahead and be ready to, well, you can raise your hand when this is all said and done.
Well, on the backside, too. Just
Yeah, gotcha. Yep, all good. All right, so Ginny Staver just put herself at the top of the line by signing above line number 1.
My thanks to Frank, because
Yeah.
I've got a PT appointment.
That was nice then. Good advice. All right, we're glad you're here. Thank you. If you
Thanks, Frank.
Identify yourself, address,
sit
et cetera.
No, that light is right in my face and I can't.
Oh, can we do anything about
you-
that?
Just slide the mic over.
Yeah, there you go.
You slide
Thank
the
you.
chair and be.
And by the way, you guys, we do have our attorney, Kevin Best, is also here tonight in case he needs to be called on to answer questions. But he is listening in, along with Town Manager Wade Yost. Sorry, all the commissioners here, as well as Niles and John Strong, our town engineer. Thank you, Ginny. Please go ahead.
Okay, hi, my name is Ginny Staver and I live at 19221 Wooten Avenue in the Wesmont subdivision. I own the Poolesville Barber and Stylist business in the same location for 39 years of continuous use. I graduated from the California State School System, college system, with a degree in the arts and sciences of barbering. Tonight, I'd like to address primarily the shared use of a parking lot section of this proposed legislation. Parking lots. Well, 30-some years ago, a Mr. Bill Hostler educated me with this statement: Ginny, a church is only as big as its parking lot. They were building the new building addition onto St. Peter's at the time. Parking is the lifeblood of a business. If you do not have adequate parking for your business will fail, almost certainly. In Bethesda and Rockville, parking lots all have signs on them that say, parking only, all others will be towed. Parking for this business, insert the name of your store here. Our parking lots here in Poolesville are the private land of the owners. As they own their business buildings, so do they own the land that they built the parking lot on for their business, for the exclusive use of customers who they are happy to serve. It's obvious to me that this section, and I have to tell you, I've been involved in this parking lot skirmishes for the last few years, ever since locals came to our town. It's obvious to me that this proposal is for the protection of locals' restaurant. When they began operating their business, they neglected to provide parking for their customers, naively perhaps, thinking that they would not become a larger business. Well, happily for them, they did become very successful. And now they had to put a parking lot in back of their business. And to do that, they had to access from the Oddfellows through to put a driveway in to get to the back of their lot. Well, they've been even more successful since then, and they've run out of parking. And this proposal, to me, smacks entirely of protection for locals' restaurant, while leaving the rest of us businesses in the lurch. Because if we don't have enough parking for our customers on our privately owned parking lots, then we're out of luck, aren't we? Well, no other government has ever tried to do that. And when they do, it's called eminent domain. And that's when governments take privately owned land. This shared use parking lot is really just that. It's eminent domain through the back door.
So Jenny, you're about at 3 minutes.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
All right, very good, thank you. And I will say that definitely we've heard comments on parking, and I'm sure that's going to become under further discussion, so I appreciate your comments on that. All right, very good. Next up, Frank Jameson.
My name is Frank Jameson, 19939 Fisher Avenue, Poolesville. I'm going to cut to the chase. You have a long evening in front of you tonight. So let me just read one paragraph and summarize that.
Is that an extra one?
The CAD reaches across Fisher Avenue to the north. That includes my building. But also it includes a residential house, 3 nonprofit philanthropic properties that are permitted uses in both the current zone and the proposed CAD zone, and an existing restaurant that also is permitted in the use in the current and proposed zone. So there are 2 properties that are impacted by the CAD, and they are Mr. Welsh's property, which is on 10,250 square feet, and my property that is 42,614 square feet, and has deeded access to 2 roads in the town of Poolesville, Elgin and Fisher. I might be the only property in there that has a deeded access to the public road. In a previous era of real estate, this type of zoning proposal for a property such as mine would be called spot zoning. This is in reverse, in that the proposed zoning will adversely affect the one property that has any practical upside potential. To eliminate this potential abuse of zoning, I request the commissioners remove those properties north of Fisher Avenue from further consideration in the CAD. The remaining area in the CAD would result in a well-defined, precise area. I'd like you to consider this proposal to eliminate those properties on the north side. One, it looks like a bad bump when you look at the map of the proposed CAD zone. It bumps across the street, and there is no practical purpose except it is the devaluation of my property. And I'm the only property on that side of the road that is not, that I can develop. Everybody else is at their highest and best use currently. So, in the preservation of time and to allow others to speak, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If not, I will go back to my seat.
Thank you for that, Frank, and we also appreciate the documentation that you gave us to consider, as
Okay.
we will do so.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, Nancy, is it Whelan? Willard. I'm sorry, Nancy. That's like doctor's handwriting on that signature, you know. Good doctor.
Okay, so am I ready? Can I go?
You're good. They can
Okay.
hear you.
Good evening. My name is Nancy Willard, and I am appearing as counsel on behalf of Robert Jameson, the owner of 19939 Fisher Avenue. I respectfully urge the board to reject this proposed ordinance, and I offer the following legal and practical objections for the record. First, I want to address nonconforming uses. Most people have heard the phrase grandfathered in. The legal term is nonconforming use. A use becomes considered nonconforming when the use was lawfully established under the zoning regulations in effect at the time it commenced. However, after the zone is subsequently amended, the use no longer conforms with the zoning. The owner may continue the use, but only subject to strict and unforgiving legal constraints, which I will discuss shortly. Several businesses in the proposed CAD area, which are currently permitted, such as engine repair shops, would be classified as special exceptions, losing their permitted status. That distinction is legally significant. The moment this ordinance takes effect, those businesses lose their as-of-right status and they become non-conforming uses overnight. Again, I would like the numbers to speak for themselves. Under this proposed ordinance, 26 currently permitted uses would become special exception uses. 10 permitted and 21 special exception uses would no longer be allowed at all, therefore eliminating 31 uses altogether. And finally, only one use that is currently a special exception use would become a permitted use. In practice, nonconforming use means the following. First, the business cannot expand. Not an additional service bay. That use is legally frozen at its present scope from the date of enactment. Second, if the property suffers a flood, fire, or structural damage, the owner may not have the right to reestablish the same nonconforming use as a matter of right. Third, and most critically, if the use is not used for approximately 6 months, the nonconforming use is considered abandoned, and then the property reverts to full CAD classification with no ability to reestablish the prior use. At that point, to resume former business, they must apply for a special exception. Getting a special exception is lengthy and costly. To merely apply, a property owner must, this is not even including everything, they must prepare a site plan and provide an assessment of environmental impact. This alone typically requires professional preparation at meaningful cost. For a small business owner, being told that he must now hire counsel, retain a site plan preparer, attend multiple hearings across multiple months, and hope for a favorable discretionary vote simply to continue doing what he was always doing is not procedural inconvenience, it is an existential threat to his business. And many businesses facing that threat are precisely the ones that have withstood every economic cycle this community has seen. They are among the most durable businesses in Poolesville's history, such as Morningstar Welding, which is the oldest business in Poolesville's history. Next, I would like to address parking. The proposed ordinance classifies automobile parking lots as special exception uses. There is already inadequate parking in this area of town. And rather than providing a mechanism to address that problem, this ordinance structurally prevents it by subjecting every new parking investment to full discretionary review. Mind you, part of applying for and even receiving a special exception for any special exception use is demonstrating that there would be adequate parking to sustain that business that's going in. Next, I would like to address how this ordinance directly contradicts the town's own comprehensive plan made in 2024.
I'm not going to ask you to wrap up, but I'm going to ask you to wrap up.
Okay. Well, it directly contradicts the comprehensive plan.
You can have a good conclusion, that's fine.
Okay, no, I just urge you to reject the plan. Thank you.
Ah, there you go, right to the meat of it. All right, very good. Thank you for that. We appreciate that. The next one, is it Cliff? Is it?
Ask a question real quick.
Oh, what's that?
Nancy, what? Nancy,
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Thank you for that. I didn't see it. Hang on. Ed, yes,
hey,
what?
just a quick question. Nancy, right? Yes. Nancy, are we able to get a copy? Because I wanted to hear the rest of what you had to say. Can we get a copy of what you had, part of that written statement?
Just emailed into the commissioners?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. And sorry to cut you off. Cliff, go ahead. You're up. Thank you.
Okay,
Introduce
thank
yourself.
you. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Cliff Williams. I don't live in the city limits of town. I do live in Poolesville. I've been on the same property for 7 generations of family. And I'm at 16115 Edwards Ferry Road in Poolesville. And instead of giving a testimony tonight, what I have is just a few simple questions that I would like to address to the commissioners and have them give me an answer if I could. Number one, if this district goes, the cultural and arts district goes forward, what are y'all planning on doing to the farming community? Put up a stop sign, don't let them run their combines through town, stop their grain trucks, build a new road somewhere for them? What's your plans on that? How do you plan to affect that?
I don't think that we have any plan to affect that in any way, shape, or form through the cultural arts.
So
Hang on
then
for a second. Hang on for a second. I'll get you in a minute.
But just regarding that exact issue, in the FAQ, you say you're either going to add a municipal parking lot or potentially have West Willard be open to on-street parking. If you have on-street parking on West Willard, either you're going to have to take a huge amount of the land there.
The plan is to have no restriction on our roads through this CAD. And again, it's a proposed CAD. Brian, I appreciate the feedback on that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. And by the way, this is a proposal that has been put in front of the commissioners to develop public information on.
Yeah.
And we're not saying we're the experts on this at all. This is a proposal that we're vetting out so that we hear from the residents, so then we will, take further action on as time goes on. But
Well, I recognize and I appreciate that, but I would assume that y'all have had an opportunity to look at it and
We have.
kind of run it through your minds.
Sure.
More so than people that have just recently got the information to them.
Understood.
Another issue I have that in the proposal, it referenced possibility of reopening White's Ferry. Now, it looks to me like that's already been hit pretty hard with both Montgomery County and Loudoun County. It's kind of at an impasse. So what secret method have y'all come up with in order to do that? I'm sure a lot of people around here would be very interested.
All right, so we have to tell you the secret sauce is we are going to establish a toll road no, I'm just kidding. There's no such thing as a toll road. What we're going to be doing is we're waiting to see what happens with the Montgomery County solution that's been proposed. We hear that there is some progress on it, and we're hopeful that somehow they'll reach an agreement. They have till June 30 under the current proposal that's out there to reestablish some sort of binding agreement for the reestablishment of the ferry.
Okay, all right.
Thank you for that.
And you're welcome. And then lastly, as far as like the additional traffic that would be included and generated here in town, I know at the intersection here where you got the 4-way stop signs at Fisher and Elgin, I mean, sometimes you got 4 cars sitting there. It's like playing Russian roulette as to who's going to go first. And I can just see that if there's an increased traffic situation as far as this new district that's going to be created, things can only get worse. I don't ever see it getting any better. So
I appreciate the comments on it. I will say that I'm hopeful that our streetscape plan, when instituted, will redefine that intersection. It'll still be 4-way stop, but it'll be redefined in terms of the turning lanes and the access to it.
Well, okay, and then in addition to my last question, I mean, I'd hate to see this town turned into like a Kentlands or something like that.
We appreciate
And I
that.
think that is kind of the direction it's being left in or leaning towards.
I hear you. I don't agree, but I hear you.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, next up, Rebecca Munster. I didn't know how to pronounce that name. Hi, Rebecca.
Hey, Rebecca.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Munster, 17609 Shores Drive. I was with you guys last time, and I've since spent some time reviewing the materials that were shared, including the FAQ, and I wanted to follow up with a few thoughts. I continue to believe this is an important conversation, but also one that deserves careful consideration. Because zoning changes like this are significant. They're not minor. They're not little things. They may not have a major impact today, but they set direction for how decisions are made over time, and they ultimately shape what our town becomes. In reviewing the FAQ, I understand that part of the foundation for this effort comes from a 2007 report. That was nearly 20 years ago, and a lot has changed since then. I actually had a child in that time who's now an adult. A lot happens. So I think it's important we ask whether the assumptions for that time, especially around demand and people consistently coming here, still hold true today. I also noticed language around encouraging certain types of businesses, and I think that's the part that's really disconcerting. I think that raises an important question about how does that encouragement show up in practice in the future? Because even without formal restrictions, those signals can influence approvals, investment, and expectations over time, and ultimately shape the mix of businesses in the district. So while this may not impact existing uses today, it clearly sets that direction. And I want to come back to something fundamental: demand. We are a small, somewhat remote town. Demand here is not consistent, and many of our existing businesses are already operating within those constraints. If costs increase over time, as they often do with more structured development, and demand doesn't increase at the same pace, that creates real risk. Higher overhead with limited or inconsistent foot traffic is not a sustainable combination. So for me, this really comes down to making sure we're not just creating a vision, but creating something that actually works economically for the businesses and residents who are here. I do appreciate the additional information that was shared since the last meeting, but at the same time, I think an opportunity to move beyond information sharing and into more direct collaboration, particularly around understanding the economic feasibility and long-term sustainability of this approach, is necessary. That kind of collaboration would bring together the perspectives of both business owners and residents in a way that helps ensure we're building something that truly works for the community. And I'm not entirely sure that a zoning change is required to accomplish some of those goals. I would also be happy to contribute my time and perspectives to help further explore the economic feasibility and long-term sustainability of this approach before moving forward. At the end of the day, I think we all want the same thing: to create something that strengthens our town in a way that is sustainable and inclusive. Given that, I believe this would benefit from additional time, input, and collaboration before any decisions are made. Thank you.
I think we're headed that way. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Jerome Klobakowski.
I'll wait after everybody else does.
Understood. Oh, you want the back cleanup. Okay, got it. Thomas Bodmer. Thomas.
My name's Thomas Bodmer. Don't know all the information. What little bit I do know, I want to comment on. I'm always skeptical when the government's here to help and set up boundaries and denials. That being said, 30-some-odd years ago, the town helped me. They came up with problems with my site plan. They also came up with solutions. They made my dreams come true. That being said, I don't want to stop anybody's dreams from what anybody wants to do anywhere in the town. I don't want anybody to have to go through a bunch of BS to do what they want to do. Yeah, we have a few problems with some parking here and there. My biggest thing is to common sense to solve these problems, common sense to deal with zoning. I don't want anything to be passed that would hurt the landowners that are already in this district. What I see is kind of impeding some of the owners of their property in the future, whether they do it, their grandkids do it, or their great-great-grandkids. I love this town. I love locals. I love all the businesses here in town. We're one big, happy family. Maybe a dysfunctional family from time to time, but a good family. I'd just like some common sense being thrown at this and not penalize people later for decisions, that other people make. Let's try to do the right thing and make this work for everybody. By all means, don't kill anybody's dreams. Thank
Got
you.
it. Thank you. Thanks, Tad.
Thanks, Todd. Ted.
Appreciate that. Jeff Welch.
Thank you very much. You'd make the business in. My name is Jeff Welsh. I live at 19915 Fisher Avenue, and I've prepared a statement for tonight, so I'll see if I can get through it in 3 minutes. Good evening, and thank you for providing this public hearing for property owners and concerned citizens of the Poolesville community who may offer their support, their neutrality, or opposition to the proposed Cultural Arts District, or CAD. After carefully reviewing the town documentation, conducting my own research, reviewing video recordings, public comments on social media, and in consultation with my family and neighbors who will be impacted by the CAD, I come before you this evening to express my opposition to this proposed downzoning of the current PCOM zoned area that my property and our neighboring properties fall into. My opposition to this action falls under one of my longstanding life philosophies learned from famous economist Adam Smith. For those of us here this evening that might not be aware of Smith's most famous tenet, it is the idea of the invisible hand, an argument where free markets and self-interest rule logical and pragmatic thinking, rather than giving over to government control for decision-making. If this invisible hand is allowed to happen without the constraints of government, people, or communities can efficiently guide resources and lead societal prosperity without intervention or impediments. With that said, I think that the town should concentrate on making the downtown as attractive as it possibly can, be walkable and safe with the streetscape plan, and should avoid putting restrictions on how that part of the town grows or develops. I understand that the zoning has its benefits of preventing parts of our town from developing in the wrong direction, but I do not believe it should attempt to steer it in a preferred direction, as that is destined to fail, in my opinion. I'm also concerned that one arts-oriented organization seems to be determining the destiny and regulations for an entire community. What Locals and Riverworks has done so far to revitalize the traditional center of town has been amazing, and they deserve all the credit for their vision, dedication, and spirit toward this revitalization. This, however, does not mean that they get to steer long-term civic policy and planning or condemn others' property owners to accept the CAD, even if it is transformative opportunity for the town long-term. If Riverworks wants to expand their nonprofit and seek taxpayer dollar subsidization through government grants and state bonds, they should be supported in this effort. If they want to purchase or otherwise other properties in town of Poolesville to establish new arts center locations, this should also be an option. What should not be the default option is creating a zone across many multiple-use properties for their exclusive benefit. This is not the path that the town should be pursuing or ever pursue for any entity trying to influence policy for profit or nonprofit organizations. I support the town helping them designate their properties or potential new properties they purchase as cultural arts designated locations if that assists them with financing their new endeavors. However, this yoke is uneven and tipping the scales for one entity as a formula for the next 50 years of town planning. Maybe Poolesville can become a center for the arts in Montgomery County, the state, or the nation. That sounds great, but that sounds great, but what isn't needed is a CAD to achieve this goal. Let this happen organically, and you might be surprised what the people of the businesses of Poolesville come up with. For my 52 years in this town, I think the people of Poolesville have been excellent stewards for a long time without the need for special exemptions and too much government oversight. There are of course, always those exemptions where someone tried to do something odd or wacky in the town. That is where I trust our current zoning and town management because of their excellent track record of listening and figuring out the right balance for this community.
I know you're ending, right?
I know, I am. I just think at the end of the day that this is totally unnecessary component of the comprehensive plan of Poolesville. And I will just cut to the chase. I do not want to be part of the CAD. I would like you to draw me out of it and put me in the ferry crossing zone, or leave me as I am. But I do not want to be in the CAD. Thank you for your time.
Duly noted. Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, okay, yeah, I will. Yeah, Sarah just brought that up, and Jeff, I appreciate the commentary on that. We do want to make sure that you know that this has not been, I know that this may be a source of disbelief in this crowd, but Riverworks and locals have had zero play in this. In fact, they've asked us to not have play in this. And so if there's a reference to locals or Riverworks anywhere in this proposal, it's just not a part of our thought process, and I don't believe it's been a part of our planning commission's thought process either. So if that's been stated otherwise, we apologize on our behalf, but that's not how we're looking at it. Zach Campbell. Zach. Watch, the next person comes up and says, Riverworks, and we're so happy to have you do this for us.
Hi, Zach Campbell, 1800 Diagonal Road, Alexandria. Hello, nice to see you all this evening. My name is Zachary Campbell with TMD Poolesville LLC, and I'm the contract purchaser of a 3.7 acre parcel on Wooten Avenue between Elgin and Norris Road that makes up roughly the southeast quadrant of the proposed district. On that property, we have submitted an application for a residential townhome development with improved streetscapes, aesthetically pleasing facades, and what we think would be a great kickstart to the vision behind the community arts district proposal. We submitted a detailed letter to the commission regarding this proposed district, and tonight I'd like to highlight a few of the most important points. First, I want to be very clear, we support the vision behind the community arts district. We believe in creating a vibrant, walkable, aesthetically pleasing, and even artistic town center. That's good for Poolesville, it's good for residents, businesses, and visitors alike. Our concern is that certain aspects of the current proposal will actually work against those stated goals, primarily the removal of residential uses as a matter of right and only allowing them by special exception approval. Over the past year, my firm has invested more than $500,000 into planning, engineering, and coordination with the town. We've met with the staff many times and participated in public meeting with our original concept plan. We've made adjustments based on community feedback, and during our meetings with staff, we had made it very clear that we wish to be the kickstart of this new district and welcome introducing concepts such as improved streetscapes, facades, or even art installations. However, like many of the residents and stakeholders you heard from 2 weeks ago and tonight, we only became aware of what we believe the most critical legislative facet of the proposed CAD, the removal of by right residential uses, when the public hearing was announced. That was a surprise and a serious concern. This particular concept introduces a discretionary, subjective, and potentially arbitrary process that will discourage new venture investment into this district, especially with the significant upfront capital required to get a project in front of the commission. Housing plays a critical role in the success of the CAD. Housing is the economic engine that makes everything else possible. More people living within walking distance means more customers to support local businesses or even to start local businesses. It allows for high-quality streetscapes and walkability. It enables the economic viability of infrastructure improvements like the storm pipe upgrades proposed as part of our development. These things benefit the entire district. The types of small businesses envisioned in the CAD, such as coffee shops, galleries, art studios, etc., simply cannot carry the burden of those costs on their own. In conclusion, and stated simply, the removal of by right residential represents a fundamental shift in the property rights for the owners in this district and detracts from the stated goals that the district wishes to achieve. So we respectfully urge the town to either eliminate the special exception requirement for residential uses or pause the process and bring stakeholders together for meaningful work sessions. Thank you.
That all sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate that, Zach. Patricia Harris.
Good evening. I'm Patricia Harris with the law firm of Turley and Brewer, and I'm here on behalf of Jack's development team. And my testimony is going to dovetail with his, but it sounds like it's also going to dovetail with what you've pretty much heard all evening. In terms of big picture, we're supportive of the CAD. We understand the objectives of the CAD. Let me be clear on that, the objectives, but not how to get there. As you know, some of the most important uses, the housing and retail, are uses that are currently permitted in the PCOM zone, and there's really no need to tinker with them. As it pertains to retail, as you heard particularly 2 weeks ago, the town has a certain amount of existing retail now, some of which is already suffering. To mandate even more retail does nothing and is only going to exacerbate that current problem. But what I really want to focus on is the issue of creating a special exception for residential uses, because as you just heard, and maybe others will say it as well, it's very unlikely that any residential development will occur if it requires a special exception process. The process is inherently discretionary and subjective. And all you need to do is look at your existing zoning ordinance and the wording in there in section 10.d.2. It says things like the board shall request, the board shall grant requests for a special exception when in the judgment of the board. That's discretionary. Or does not affect the use does not affect adversely the use and development of the general neighborhood. Again, no standards. Those kind of things make potential developers and, more importantly, investors very, very nervous, and they would be reluctant to invest in a project. There's also a requirement that says the town needs to find from a preponderance of the evidence that the use is due to an insufficient number of similar uses presently available to serve the population of the town. But the population of the town refers to the residents, and so it's almost implicitly contradictory to say that you need to prove that in order to say to support more housing in the town. The CAD itself is somewhat standardless in terms of saying provisions such as subject to criteria encouraging greater density and mixed use, or it points to examples of providing ground floor retail. There's no standards, and what does encouraging retail uses really mean? So what we firmly believe that the residential uses should remain matter of right uses. They should not convert to special exception. Otherwise, you're going to thwart one of your main objectives of the legislation, which is housing. But if the town thinks otherwise and does decide that, no, they want to make it a special exception use, then we strongly encourage you to do what a lot of other jurisdictions do, which is include a grandfathering provision. When you adopt a zoning text amendment, you grandfather existing uses, existing applications that have been filed and processed. It's just fundamental fairness, and we thank you for considering that approach.
Thank you. Thank you for the testimony. Appreciate it. Very good. All right, Leo Bassett, back again. Leo, where are you? Welcome back.
Thanks. Leo Bassett, 19933 Wooten. Last week I came here, and what I realized was I didn't have all my information straight, so I went back and I read through the 2024 comprehensive plan. And I watched all the videos and everything. And let me read what section 6.2 says, goals and objectives. The following goals and objectives have been identified to help support the town's future development. Number 1, encourage development of existing residential and commercial properties. Encourage infill development with the commercial business district. Now take this. Give super priority status to development or redevelopment projects proposed within the town center. In the town center, including water, sewage, allocations, housing in the town center. Emphasize small affordable housing types and projects for young elderly residential products. And it goes on to do some other things. Anyway, with that said, on March 16th at 54 minutes, Lexi says, major thing that would change in the CAD, residential, would be by special exception. There would be no residential allowed. You've totally flip-flopped from your 2024 what do you call it, comprehensive plan. What made you go this direction, then flip-flop and say, no zone? What the hell's going on? I mean, that's a total 180 degrees change. So, and then she also said, if it exists residential, it is not impactful at the moment. So what does that mean? Anyway, listen, I've traveled all over the country. I go into every small town in America, and I don't care how big or how small the town is. Dallas, Texas is not a thriving downtown until a couple of years ago because no one lived downtown. You guys will never have a thriving downtown. You need to have people living downtown described in your 2024 comprehensive plan. So you're just throwing that away. So the special exemption will only make any development more restrictive, costly, and slow any growth, going against your 2024 comprehensive plan. And like there's 34 permitted uses that would be either special exemption or simply removed. And form-based zoning will significantly lower property values to everyone in the zone. Nothing is grandfathered in except current use, and it goes away. So I've lived here since '66. My dad bought a property. We owned Bassett's for all the years. And the town is on an island in the middle of the county, and it's survived. You know why? Because it's organically grown. There's a pop-up yoga class on Sunday. There's a bar class. There's all sorts of things happening in town that is surviving. But to go in a direction that, you know, it just doesn't feel organic to switch gears and switch directions. It's crazy. But anyway, so, and also, people don't realize everyone, when all these houses are built and all those townhouses are built, it's going to be a shot in the arm to every business in town, including locals. It's going to only help. So, this zoning will benefit town, you know, this rezoning will benefit few in town, and the town can't depend on outside help to pay bills. You know, no one's driving 30 minutes, but that's another story. So there are limited benefits to the rezoning. And if you really want to do the cultural arts thing, read up on what the Maryland Cultural Arts Medley is. If you guys have read it, it gives great benefits for all the cultural and arts things. We wouldn't qualify because all of our main art stuff is outside the zone, as you know. So there's a lot of tax breaks if you guys can go that direction. But right now, that doesn't seem possible. And there's a lot of other,
Leo.
What?
You're like almost 4 minutes. Love hearing from you.
All right.
I know.
Anyway.
Thanks, buddy. He just gave up. Thanks, Leo, for that. It's good to hear from you 2 weeks, 2 meetings in a row. The Swanstroms, do we have a Swanstrom here? Hey, Kelly's here. Okay.
So at this time, no further.
Identify yourself. Tell everybody who you are.
Sorry, I'm Kelly Swanstrom. This is Bill Swanstrom, and we own Sugar Bee Vintage.
See, I knew I'd get a plug in there for you. if you just since you came up for it. All right, very good. Gary Hartz.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Gary Hartz, 19101 Fisher Avenue, and I could probably finish this up in a matter of seconds. Hopefully, you've all listened to everyone that has spoken here tonight. This is an abomination. Where in the world did this come from? Did it come from the five of you?
No.
Where did it come from? Maybe you can't answer that. Maybe you don't know. But this has not been thoroughly vetted.
It actually came through the development of our comprehensive plan, and it's an outgrowth of our comprehensive plan.
In the flip-flop that the gentleman just mentioned? I mean, something happened to it between the comprehensive plan and here. It is not vetted.
Redevelopments, right? Anyway, yes, something has happened.
Well, it should have been vetted by this body before it went public because it's an embarrassment. It truly, truly is an embarrassment to look at this when everything could be accomplished within the commercial zone. I know what that is. I spent 15 years volunteering, 6, 7 on the Planning Commission, 8 where you sit. And it's a thorough process that we are responsible for to vet internally before we go public. You don't want to be embarrassed for something that is so against. I mean, I'm going to get away from all the comments that are made, but it looked like it was a vehicle to change what the permitted uses are, in my mind, possibly for commercial. Why in the heck do we need cannabis locations? Why do we need vaping? Why do we need the changes? The commercial zone can almost handle anything as it is. But you used this vehicle, I like the arts. I got classical pianists. I've got gals in Nashville trying to make it in the arts. But this is not the way to do it, to take away rights of privately owned citizens of property for decades and decades and generations. Fellas, I'm one of you, and you're not doing your job to do what you need to do to get the sense of the committee before you go public on something that's such an embarrassment. Thank you for your time.
All right, Brian, it's your turn now. Come on up.
Hi, I'm Brian Capaldo. I live at 19964 Fisher Avenue, the Dr. Thomas Pool House, which is registered under the Maryland Historic Trust. So for us, the zoning changes are basically much less onerous than the easements we have with the Historic Trust anyway. Our biggest concern has been the proposed parking lot, the FAQ saying that they might put parking on West Willard, and the farmer, the reason I was so jumpy about that was the farmer does bring up an excellent point. If all of a sudden you're trying to localize parking on West Willard and the big farm machinery now also needs to come down West Willard and Wooten's now a giant pedestrian walkway, are they even going to be able to navigate down West Willard, down Fisher, to the other areas where farming is done in and around the city of the town of Poolesville? A lot of my other points have already been brought up by people much more experienced, much more engaged in these sorts of things. Developers have spoken, attorneys have spoken. The other thing that I want to touch on is communication about the CAD. The town has had quite a few sort of milestone projects work through its paces, and I brought this up at my last testimony. The community center, the pool bubble, have been widely publicized by the town of Poolesville Facebook page or group, but the organization page, right? The commissioners post using that identity. And they talk about, we're talking about the community center, we're talking about the bubble. I can't find any posts from that account about the CAD being developed in the Planning Commission at all. And I understand that's not the legal avenue you have to present, but it still comes across as, why is the town advocating for this community center, for this pool bubble in such a sort of public forum, but then the cultural arts district, which to me sounds like as much of a milestone project and something to be proud of as the community center and as the pool bubble, it's crickets. So that's again, everyone else has brought up excellent salient points, and those are sort of my concerns as just someone who intends for it to be residential long-term. And, maybe when the kids are out, we make it a business, but then what happens if that business fails, but it lasts longer than 6 months? We can't turn our house back into our home because of the CAD. That changes the calculus for us, what we do with our house long-term. Thank you.
Duly noted. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. And it looks like we have a Sarah Fitzgerald from the same address.
Hi, I'm Sarah Fitzgerald. I live at 19964 Fisher Avenue. I spoke on April 6th and then following up. Again, a lot of the points have already been made, but hopefully part of this discussion is bringing the family face to it because we live right on Fisher and we have 2 small children and we have continued to be advocates for Poolesville. So I am seeking clarity on how the proposed cultural arts district may impact homeowners over time. So if I change how I use my home, what happens then? What if we sell? These are the questions that keep going through my head. If my family moves out for a period of time and later returns, how would that impact our zoning status? Currently, we're zoned both residential and commercial, and it's a strength of our property. My husband and I already talked about how we're on the historic trust, so we have things that we can't do to our home. We're not going to develop the land that we have an easement on, but I do have to think about the future and for my children. So I guess when I sit here, I'm asking and I want to understand, what does this mean for my family long term? And what does it mean for other families who live within the proposed district or families who might move into the proposed district? They're not small questions. They directly affect how we live, invest in, and plan our homes, our future, our kids' futures. Also, I want to acknowledge on Facebook the recent discussions around placemaking, and I appreciate that framing. Placemaking only works when it's done with the community, not around the community. How are homeowners within the cultural arts districts being meaningfully included in shaping place here in Poolesville? Right now, our primary avenue for engagement has been showing up to public meetings and offering comments. Happy to do that civic duty. That is not the same as dialogue, though. It's not the same as collaboration. There is a power dynamic at play in a public hearing or a town hall meeting, and I feel I need to call it out. And that can result in a show. I hope that's not the case here. I'm sure it isn't, but it matters because it impacts trust. So in the spirit of placemaking and in the spirit of building a strong community, I am asking, what is your plan to actively engage and partner with homeowners and landowners who live within the district before decisions are finalized? Because if Poolesville is the caring community I know it is and I believe it is, and if the cultural arts district is born from a vision that supports community, then the people who live in that place must be an active part in shaping it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Steve Goldberg. Steve.
Hi, I'm Steve Goldberg. I live outside of town, and for the people who are new to town, I used to have the antique shop. And I've had my property at 19900 Fisher Avenue for 25 years, 26 years now. So the one thing that I can say, and a lot of the old people in town, is that the town has moved around and changed. When I first bought my property, it was the CBD, Can't Be Done District, and that was the term. When I went into town hall to try to do anything, they said, you're in the CBD, you can't do anything. So right now, I'm for the arts. I would love to see an arts overlay where you say, hey, you can do the arts, and we're going to give you added benefits within this parameter, and then so you get the benefits of the arts that I fully support without taking away the property owner's rights. And that's really my issue, because I've had an antique shop, I've had a garden center, I've had a daycare. If I wanted to turn around and put the garden center back in like I did impromptu for COVID, in the new zoning, that wouldn't be allowed. I'm not even positive if the daycare that was planned would be allowed. Presently, we're going to be putting in a restaurant use, and I still plan on developing the rest of the property. So really, when I'm looking out 25 years, which I think the planning board is, we don't know what direction the town's really going to go. Yes, I would love to see the arts. I tried to help with the arts 25 years ago. I also did a lot with historic medley. and we brought some arts into the town. At that point, it was too early. So that kind of faltered. Now Locals is here, they're bringing more arts and more flexibility. But in 25 years, we could have a surge of arts. It could collapse almost like Newmarket was the center of antiques. Or say Leesburg, Virginia was full of antique shops. They're almost all gone. Now they're breweries. If they had changed their zoning to be all antique shops, then when the breweries wanted to be moved in, they wouldn't have the flexibility. So as a property owner and a business owner, I don't want to see a step back and to take away my property rights and other property rights. So really, the broader the zoning, the better. Yes, the town is over-parked zoning-wise. So when I went in to put in an addition, the county said, why is there so much parking? You are ruining stormwater for yourself. And I said, because the town requires it. Please cut back the parking, create an arts overlay to create flexibility, but don't take away the business properties owners' rights. And please, help local business. We all need to be supported. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Good stuff. All right, Susan Jameson.
Good evening, Susan Jameson, 16200 Edwards Ferry Road, Poolesville, Maryland. I don't have any prepared comments. My husband, Robert, will speak together, except, you read about the Arts District, and it's like the Field of Dreams. Build it and they will come, but they don't come, okay? We don't even have a grocery store. I'm thinking, this is like a pipe dream that's just really diminishing the rights on a lot of existing businesses and property owners without, in my opinion, a very realizable dream of changing Poolesville. I love the arts like everybody else, but I think it's over-governing to take away a lot of rights of existing property owners in the hopes of building something that, may never, ever happen. So that's all I have to say, and I thank you for your time.
And the next speaker is?
Robert Jameson, 19939 Fisher Avenue. I had Nancy Willard testify a little bit on my behalf. But I'd like the counselor. Is it Mr. Best? Is he the town?
Yeah, Kevin?
Yeah. I'd like him to understand that this is borderline confiscatory. And confiscation without just compensation is constitutionally illegal in the United States. That's why we did all of this work on these transferable development rights. And I'm getting too old for Susan to sue the hell out of everybody again. Because we've been to circuit court, and we've been to the Court of Appeals, and we've hired Stan Abrams, who wrote the Guide to Maryland Zoning Decisions. I think and I appreciate you guys. I really do. You volunteer, you come in here, you work, you do all this stuff for us. But I think your counselor needs to speak with you in private session and tell you that you are borderline illegal on this, and it almost constitutes a taking. When you downzone this much property without some compensation, it's illegal. And that's my testimony.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, guys. So we have Tom Kettler still. Tom, are you here? And are you with this? Are you testifying on this? Yes, sir. Where are you? And then also, too, if there's anybody that didn't sign up that still wants to testify after this, I'm welcome to it. I'll just call you up and you can raise your hand. Just make sure you identify yourself and where you live so we can get you on record. Tom, go ahead.
For the record, I'm Tom Kettler. I live at 17917 Elgin Road. I'm here tonight. I'm also, as you all know, I'm president of the Poolesville Area Chamber of Commerce. I have talked to some local businesses in town. I don't want to come off as saying this is the official position of the Poolesville Area Chamber of Commerce, but I did feel compelled to make some comments based on talking to individual business owners as this issue has to come about. I mean, in summary, I think my suggestion coming out tonight would be for you all to basically send this back to the Planning Commission, remand it back to them to do some more work. I'll read a paragraph out of the 2024 master plan, or comprehensive plan, which I went through it again last week, and there was really no specific reference at all to the Cultural Arts District, which is surprising when you think about it, because within 2 years, all of a sudden, this has come up. But I'll read a paragraph that I think is insightful and speaks to a lot of the points people are making tonight. And this is page 52, chapter 6. Efforts to create a town center while piecemeal have been successful and ongoing. In the next decade, a similar emphasis should continue. Redevelopment infill efforts should include input from residents, business owners, and other community stakeholders to create more vibrant and walkable neighborhoods in the town center, including a mixed-use development projects, apartments where appropriate. So that's to me, that's a pretty telling paragraph. And what I heard from a number of people I talked to in the last couple of weeks who were in the zone, that they really, even though I know I'm very, having worked in town for 30 years, I'm very familiar with the Planning Commission, the commissioners, and all the processes involved. But certainly with the number of businesses that you're talking about and residences, there probably should have been some sort of public notice sent out prior to this coming to you all. I know you all getting this sent up from the Planning Commission. I do have to echo, and having gone through the ordinance itself again a couple of weeks ago, I do echo, again, being someone who has been in the home building and development business for over 45 years, my concern about, which has been expressed by a number of people tonight, that people who have permitted uses now in the commercial zone are all of a sudden becoming special exceptions. And that I really have a problem with, because that really is to the issue of you're taking away somebody's property rights. I mean, again, I'm a huge supporter of the arts. I'm a member of the Historic Medley District Board of Directors. I'm involved in a lot of things in town. So, and I think again, to echo what some other folks have said here, I know you all work very hard, and the Planning Commission works very hard, but this, given the amount of response that you all have received within the last 2 weeks based on this, I think clearly it should be sent back. There's some specific, and I don't know how much more time I have, but there's some specific comments I have when I went through it. I mean, the sign review board, getting rid of that and making it the more administrative for the town. I think that's, nobody's really focused on that, but I think that's a successful, a recommended thing to do. The document talks about the Cultural Arts District guidelines, and then I look through it and I don't know where those are. So those are the kind of things you need to sort of send it back, Planning Commission, and look through it. But if I'm out of time, I will sit down. But thanks for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Tom.
Appreciate
Appreciate the feedback. Got it. All right, so we can see that the room is still full, so we didn't turn the heat up high enough yet. I know we have other people that didn't sign up that want to converse, and I know you're on the end right here. Come on up, introduce. Oh, that's okay. Come on up, introduce yourself, and we'll take you right now. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Jack Douglas. I live at 17607 West Willard Road. I'm right between the high school and the Methodist Church, so I'm kind of directly kind of impacted.
Yeah,
and so I kind of agree with a lot what has been said here, is that I love the vision. I think the idea of organic growth is fantastic, and it may even happen, but the way they're going about it is really not appropriate. And I'm really concerned about the long-term viability and the appropriateness. I mean, I look at the Methodist Church, I can't imagine much development really going into that. So I have a little skepticism. Nonetheless, I'm really happy to see them have their little concerts there, and I hope something comes of it. But apart from that, the property rights issue is the reason I'm here. I didn't hear anything about this, and in fact, I've only about a week ago, Mr. Bassett sort of informed me that this was happening. So I think there's a communication issue, and so. Yeah, I'm really concerned. I have commercial dual use, and so if this happens, I'm concerned the property value of my property might really greatly be affected. Because I'm getting to the point. I've lived there for almost 40 years. I think of this property as an investment. I think there is potential for development, And, this will probably affect, when I come to sell the property, having these constraints on it, the value of the property. So this is just, on the other hand, I really would love to see more development improving Willard Road. And, this is a great idea to have. Also, I have concerns about the students. They're constantly, and people parking in my, the events, they're parking in my yard and, because people are desperate. And, so I think having better sidewalks there so the students don't have to walk through my yard would be nice.
We did it on the other side.
Well, apparently the high school students don't necessarily sort
No,
of
they
see it that
followed
way.
their own path.
And another thing I mentioned is that there's a history of sort of failures of the master plan. They were going to have the development. I think the whole fate of, the Selby grocery store, that was sort of sad. I mean, they were scaling up big development. We all anticipated it sort of when I first came here. It never really happened. All the stores across the street, they just never went anywhere. There was all this vision, but it just never realized. We were going to have all this senior housing, inexpensive housing for seniors. I'd never seen that. I don't think this housing that we're getting here qualifies in that regard. So there's a history of sort of planning. And so also, I've seen some very strange things going on with my, my property taxes, as the development is going on. There was like in 2007, 8, when the economy wasn't doing so, they doubled the value of my property taxes. Okay. And then recently, around 2021, when again a lot of planning is going, it halved. So there's some really very
Not
strange.
on our behalf. I don't think we've reduced anybody's taxes.
Oh, it went down. It's okay. I thought, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to complain about it. But there's some as they go through these different, part of that had to do with, I was sort of in this town center. They kind of redrew the line, and I was in the center of town. I think that impacted the value of my property. I'm just guessing. But there have been so I'm really skeptical that this rezoning will not impact the property values.
Jack, first of all, we want to thank you for coming up because none of us know who you were, and we've all lived here, and we're really glad to meet you. And thank you for having some testimony. And if you'll connect with Town Hall so we can speak to you a little bit more, we'd appreciate
I had
it.
some other, then I can talk about some of these other irregularities.
Oh,
I
love
love
to
the
have you.
vision. I mean, but I think a lot of people have been saying that, is that you love the idea, but it should grow organically. I mean, and I think something really great and beautiful would happen, just like Locals has really bloomed, and then you don't have to force it. Let it.
Understood. Understood. Thank you for the testimony. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, anybody else that has not signed up, you want to come on? Oh, okay. Come on. No, next up, Stefan? No, you're leaving? Good night. All right, see you, buddy. Good seeing you. Sandy? Stefan's trying to just get out. Too funny. You are up.
Hello. My name is Sandy Wright. I live in Bellsville, but I live most of the weekdays, Wednesday through Sunday, at 19929 Fisher Ave. And on Sundays, I also live at 17605 West Willard. So I'm here in support of the Cultural Arts District. But I do want to set the record straight. We, Locals and Riverworks, were not behind this. We supported it. We were told, hey, we might do this. We said, hey, that's a great idea 4 years ago, maybe even before there was a Riverworks. So I just want you to know, I want the town to know that this is not for us. While we welcome it and we support it, and because we believe that it's good for our community, that is why we would support the Cultural Arts District. We think it would bring more business to the town. And I also want to clarify that I appreciate in September last year on Poolesville Day, Jim Brown announced the Cultural Arts District at the groundbreaking of Riverworks. So if nobody heard that's in this room, that means maybe you weren't there. But it hasn't been a secret. We've been aware. We didn't know the details at all, but we just knew it was coming, and in principle supported the idea and still do. We just think it's, to make a walkable, beautiful town is going to do wonders. in the same way that Locals has created a nice community spot for the town and, you know, hopefully given cause for people to get together, run into each other, create a lot of community. And I want to end with, I love that you're all here. I cherish this hearing. The beauty of Poolesville is represented here, where everyone feels they have a personal stake in everything, and that's what makes this community. So kudos to all of you behind me and commissioners as well.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it. All right, anybody else want to provide testimony on this too? Hang on, now, I know he's batting cleanup. We have a hand up in the back, come on.
My name is Dave Stupp, and my wife Sandy and I own 199 105 Avenue. Currently, a business called Stump Insurance. I'm not happy with what I hear about the future. You've got restrictions on sale of the property. Currently, we're zoned residential and commercial, and it would put a restriction on my property to downgrade, financially. I think the resale of the property. Somebody got all these nice townhomes coming in right across the street from our office. If somebody wants to buy our house and live there, you're saying no. I don't agree with that at all. I think it would be a great home for somebody to live in if we sell it someday. That's my point of view. I'm for the cultural center, but I'm not for the restrictive, that you guys are putting on property owners there.
Thank you, Dave. And to all the business owners, we appreciate all of the commentary and representation tonight. Thank you for that, sir. Do we have anybody else that would like to speak? Here, come on up. Thanks, Dave.
Keir Soderberg, 19008 Dowden Circle, Poolesville. I'm here in support of the commissioners and in support of the planning commission. I mean, you guys have a terrible job here.
No worries. Thank you.
And the threads that we hear tonight, it's people want to see, development of arts or support of the arts without restricting, current property owners, and that's a tough one for you guys. Like that's obviously going to take some more thinking and doing. But I'm a proud member of Riverworks community band, and I wanted to I've lived all around the world, and you can live and in a place and never know your neighbors, and having a place to come with your kids and explore creative possibilities, it's something, and I know a lot of people, even business owners here who are against this, would support that as well. It's, having that creative space is important. Not sure how you're going to get there.
Neither are we. Thank you, Keir. Appreciate that. All right, Keir. All right, let's see. I'm scanning the audience. Who else? Anybody else have their hand up? In the back. Come on. Are you raising for him? No, okay. Are you coming up next? Okay, good.
Patrick Morningstar, 17612 Elgin Road, Morningstar Welding. It concerns me, we're busting at the seams at our business. We currently employ 12 employees, a couple from town, mostly out-of-towners. We need to expand. We're running out of room, and it scares me if I need to do an addition, what's going to happen? Am I going to be able to do it? The parking, where's this 10-foot sidewalk going? Is it going all the way around? What are we going to do? What's the streetscape plan? The rumor was that there's going to be a circle in town. How's the farmers going to get their combines through there, just like Cliff said? So I'm just more concerned about that and what's going on.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Thank you, Patrick, and legitimate concerns.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
So how many people here are for this? How many people are against it?
All right. Nobody raised their hands either way back here.
Yes.
Yeah, hang on. We had to, right there. You're next after that, Brian. I won't deny you. Come on up.
Hello, my name is Michelle Palmer. I'm at 17531 Coalhouse Road. I'm here in support of the Cultural Arts District. I am a proud member of the Riverworks Art Center, and I was really interested to hear everything that was said tonight, and it was very eye-opening, and I'm really for a compromise. So I hope that everybody can come towards compromise so that we can have happy landowners, happy business owners, and a booming cultural arts district in the downtown of Poolesville. Thank you so much.
Good. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that, Michelle. Brian, come on up.
Brian Jameson, 17236 Spates Hill Road. I'm a board member of Riverworks, and my family has Charles H. Jameson Incorporated, and I'm looking at that property and saying, these restrictions that are placed, for my kids, their generation and people like that, they're going to impact them, and we got to wait. And be really careful about what we do here so it doesn't impact any property owners' rights in the future. And we can have both. I want to see a vibrant downtown. I want to see a walkable community, but not at the expense of property owners' rights that they worked hard to get and maintain. And I think we can have both. So,
all right, good. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. All right, hang on. Everybody on this side of the room we've taken care of? All right, this side of the room? Yes, go ahead. Come on.
I'm going to be really quick. I'm Jacqueline Zaransky, 16915 Hoskinson Road. I think what you've heard here tonight is just reiterating what I said at the last commissioners meeting, is that we need to take a pause and we need to have this really evaluated. If you've noticed, every single business owner that has come up here that is within the district has not been talked to, with the exception of locals. She's the only one that came up here and said when it was discussed with me. All the rest of the owners have not had anyone discuss this with them. So that's what I'm saying, just to reinforce what I said last time, was this needs to be slowed down.
Okay. Thank you. I see the brake lights. Okay, very good. So this side of the room, good? This side of the room, anybody else? In the back, Jonathan, want to come on up? Nope? Oh, okay, never mind. Next up. I think the eye doctor didn't see anybody.
Thomas McInnes, my business is on 17600 West Willard, across from the high school, and I live at 19739 Selby Avenue. I heard about the zoning issues by happenstance, through the grapevine, such as it is. And I think that I would just echo a lot of the comments in terms of communication, that for something this significant, that all of the properties within this district, the owners, and you have a record of who the owners are, should have received some type of a written communication. I mean, if you look at typical legal process, everything is done with print, and it doesn't have to be a registered letter, but something should have been distributed to all of us way ahead of time with the parameters. And so I find that finding out sort of through the grapevine is not the way to run the business. And I certainly support the arts wholeheartedly. But my concern, too, is with West Willard, it's the major avenue for the high school in and out. You just look at the buses coming in and out. That road, there's one sidewalk there that's a big help, but the streetscape should definitely favor the safety of the students there. That's the major impetus of that area. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Did we have to put something in writing to all the neighbors?
Did we put something? We did for this public hearing.
Understood.
So not before, but for this public hearing, there was written notice.
Understood.
That was sent
Okay.
to the property owners and adjoining.
Okay, very good.
So, and we tried to send it both to the physical addresses and if we had PO boxes or other addresses but that was between
This
the
public
last
hearing.
meeting and
I
for
thought
this
we
public
surveyed the
hearing.
whole thing and sent out notices do?
We're just, you guys, studio audience, we're just talking about what kind of notices were provided for my own clarity.
Yeah.
To all the surrounding owners, business owners, property owners, et cetera, in the area, so.
Yes, the public hearing was in the Frederick News Post, and there was a news flash sent on the website for this public hearing. But that is all the notice for this public hearing. The, yeah. So sometimes it's and for the specific hearing and things like that, the monocle, because it goes on a monthly basis, is harder to meet those deadlines, depending on when we schedule hearings. So we try to get things in, like the budget hearing was in the monocle because of the timing of that. But I get what you're saying about, but I'm just saying, that's why in this case.
Also, too, and I appreciate the commentary, and, we've obviously picked up some direction on this. The commissioners have, I'm sure the planning commission as well. And I will also say, too, that again, everybody that's in this room can sign up for email alerts and text alerts from the town of Poolesville to talk about all the things that we have going on. So we are going to try to reach out, and we will be better at this. I understand this completely, and the frustration from the owners that say they either weren't contacted or they weren't contacted in time. We hear you loud and clear. It's a big deal, and we will do better. And so I appreciate that. Is there anybody else? Jonathan, sorry, my apology tour is done for the second, but you're up.
Good evening. I'm Jonathan Harris, 17643 Coalhouse Road, business owner, PACC board member, HOA board member, vice president. I think we've heard some middle ground, some areas where we could maybe revisit what the cultural arts district might look like, but also maybe even the cultural arts designated areas. I thought that might be a good idea. But either way, when I moved out to Poolesville, I felt it was very community oriented, very open. I like to see some cultural arts come in, some entertainment, more of that. But also, I am strongly against heavy restrictions or any restrictions on people and their enjoyment of their property and home. And with that, I'm just going to beat the same dead horse I've been beating. We need to work on getting parking out here, obviously, if we're working to develop as we are. So I think that needs to be more of a priority.
Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan.
Parking
Appreciate that.
enforcement, to be clear. Thank you.
Very good. All right, out there, and anybody else? Have you everybody exhausted it? Yes, go ahead. Yes, come on up.
Hi, my name's Lori Thomas. I live at 17905 Elgin Road, and I'd like to say that I support the arts. I think what Locals has brought here is beautiful, and I do find it the special exceptions unfair to business owners who purchased property the way that it was, and now for it to be changed on them, it feels unfair to me. Just like Mr. Jameson said, without some sort of compensation, as if, as anyone who is a homeowner, I'm guessing you guys are, if you had restrictions put on your homes, that would change the way you could resell your home, you might feel slighted. So I would just ask for your support for business owners in town. And I think that everything can come in harmony for this arts and also taking care of current owners. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lori. Appreciate that. Very good. All right, anybody else? Anybody else in the audience? Okay, so we're going to declare this aspect of the public hearing. We have, I'm sorry, Jerry, bat and clean up. Sorry, man. No, I would still let you. No, there's still a full house. We want you to come up. Come on. Bat and clean up. Here he comes.
My knees are locking up, but anyways.
Number 9.
Oh.
Jerry Klobakowski.
Jerry Klobakowski, 17300 Fletchall Road, Poolesville, Maryland. The idea of a cultural, I think everyone would agree that the idea of a cultural art district is laudable. However, in its current form, it's impractical. We have actually places where we already have the arts. As I recall, and maybe they don't do it anymore, but Poolesville High School used to put on an art show. The middle school used to put on an art show. The elementary school used to put on an art show. We have vacant storefronts that if these property owners of those storefronts, the strip malls, they could open up their things to have art there as well. So, everybody likes art, but in its current form as it's proposed with the parking aspect. In fact, I'm reading this H1 guidelines. It says the planning commission to have final approval on parking and while providing developers and owners with general understanding of expected provisions. What the hell does that mean? And then also, as the one lawyer brought up, and most people brought up with respect to their property owner, the existing property owners, I was really astounded there was no grandfathering in of the existing uses of the properties in that area. I thought that was really strange. And then the other thing is, this says it's a cultural arts zoning area thing, but yet it has zoning on the, talks about the sign ordinance. And with respect to the sign ordinance, it says, you can have banners which will last for 60 days, and then there are temporary signs. But there's no limit on them. Usually with civic signs and political signs, it's 30 days before the election or the event, and it has to be removed by 7 days after. There's no requirement. And I think we all can agree that, nothing is worse than driving down the road after an election and seeing all these signs no one ever touched. When I was running for commissioner, as soon as the polls closed, I went out and collected my signs. I might have missed a few, but they were gone the next day. So I think, I don't understand why that sign ordinance is included with the cultural arts ordinance. Doesn't make sense to me. If you're gonna do something, then you make it specific to the thing you're going to define. And I second everybody who's against or as they say at the Board of Education, I'd like to associate myself with all the comments by the people who brought up issues with the Cultural Arts District. And thank you very much, and have a good evening. I have been there, meetings like this in the past, having sat there, but have a good evening, and thank you for your stamina. None of you have,
No, it's been great.
pulled out your hair, walked out.
Thank you, Jerry, and thank you to everybody for all your testimony. Very civil, awesome group. Love to hear from our residents. We've just had a little conversation behind the table here as we sit there and figure out what our next direction. And obviously, this is going to be going back for some additional discussion. By no means is anything approved or moving forward without another direction on this. I think we've heard you loud and clear. Brian is our liaison for the Planning Commission as well as our ex-Planning Commission president, and I know you've had some thoughts.
Yeah, I just want to share a quick story of history of where this comes from, because it isn't very clear or evident. So when we worked on the comprehensive plan, as was stated by a few of the speakers tonight, there was a call for infilling in the downtown area. There was a little bit more of an emphasis on the comprehensive plan on housing, because we didn't have these other developments online yet. So we wanted to make sure that these would have the ability and the support of the comprehensive plan. As we approach a theoretical maximum of water allocations, we have to reconsider how we envision infilling. And so that's what started the process of how are we going to infill in this zone. This is not, by the way, in any way to dismiss any of your objections or claims. This is just a story. So the Planning Commission, who is comprised of your neighbors, in some cases your friends, we did our best job of coming up with a plan. And we used the tools that we had to communicate with an open agenda, public agenda, every month for almost 2 years. The Cultural Arts District concept was being discussed. So, yeah, obviously it's evident tonight that was not sufficient communication. I'm not debating that, but I'm just saying it wasn't from any sort of sleight of hand or invisible hand or anything like that. It was really just our doing our normal processes and expecting the residents would see on our agenda. There were also notices sent out for surveying.
Yep, there's two notices to begin with. One, an initial letter about the Cultural Arts District that was in December of 2024.
But to only those properties that were being
Only
surveyed?
those properties that were within the Cultural Arts District.
Okay, so all of the properties within the Cultural Arts District, they get that letter, okay.
That letter, and then there was one about surveying.
And look, I'm not saying that this is enough, right? I mean, obviously, it caught you guys by surprise, and that was not our intent. But just, we're saying this is what this was our method of communication. And so we had a strong feeling that when there wasn't much coming back, that we would have a meeting very similar to this. And so our intention was to get it out and get people excited. And I think we got some people excited. And we really appreciate this group and our planning commission appreciate all this feedback. We appreciate the energy from which it's coming and the professionalism in which it was delivered. And we encourage you to come to the next planning commission meeting, because I'm about to propose that this goes back to the planning commission to engage more with you in this room to determine what is the best way forward with the intent of the Cultural Arts District, the point, and not necessarily has to be a cultural arts district. But how do we infill and how do we revitalize the downtown area while still respecting property rights? So that's my suggestion to this group, is that we send it back to the Planning Commission, allow us to engage, maybe even present the plan from the Planning Commission perspective, and get the dialogue going that we all want.
Do we have to make a motion on that?
No, as long, we just need a consensus, correct?
Yeah, there
So,
doesn't need to be a motion. We can.
Brian, I really do appreciate that commentary. Again, all the audience feedback that we had tonight. If we have a consensus behind the town commissioners, we can move forward with remanding that back to the planning commission for further dialogue and certainly more public interaction.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would say I support, and I'll say a couple of things also. And thank you for coming in and sharing your information, sharing your thoughts and your feedback. And I'll echo, and I'm not on the planning commission, but I will echo what Brian is saying. So using the tools that we have, can we do a better job? Absolutely. We could do a better job of communicating. However, using the tools that we have, and so look at this, there's no decisions that have been made. There's no discussion of making a decision and moving forward at some kind of pace. But now that we've had the hearing, now that we can have richer discussions, having your feedback. And then I agree, I am in support of sending it back to the planning commission. And then I would also suggest getting some of those residents and having that collaboration, that dialogue that was mentioned here tonight.
Very good feedback tonight.
I'd like to add it. I mean, I love the fact that for the last two commissioner meetings, we've had plenty of people in the public. And we need that feedback, even though we send out civic alerts and emails and we have all kinds of meetings during the month. Having you guys here telling your stories, your day in and day out of how to operate your businesses and your lives and your homes is essential for us to move in the right direction. And I respect each and every one of the testimonies tonight.
Sarah, anything from you?
I echo everything that Brian and Ed have said.
Okay, thank you for Sarah. All right, so you guys, yes, we couldn't end it on that note, could we? We're ready to.
This is one of the best public hearings I've ever been at, and I've been to a
thank you.
lot. People were respectful,
Yep.
they were nice, they were real fine people. You guys did a great job. So I want everybody to give you all a clap.
All right, now I'm glad.
That's what I asked for.
No, now I'm glad. Now I'm glad you stayed. All right, guys. So look, we're going to declare an end to this public hearing. The record will be closed on Friday at 4 o'clock for written testimony to come in. Obviously, this is going to carry on in some form or format in the future. We will decide that at the planning commission level. Sign up for your civic alerts so you see what we have going on. We'll come right to your email box and let you know about it. Okay. End of this public hearing. We're going to take a 5-minute recess before we get to the next public hearing. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
like to spend some time. I will let them know. We talked about that.
I thought I was.
But
I thought,
that is a permitted.
yeah, yeah.
You did send me a long email.
Yeah, I got that one.
I got the same one, huh?
I did. And I'm not ready to move forward with it. I'm not ready to move
No,
forward.
I would like to spend more time.
I have still some more concerns.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get point for point.
What?
Okay.
All right.
Do we ever table things for a future date if it gets too late? What's our limit? Is there ever a time limit?
If we can get through it, we can get through it.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to keep as efficient as possible.
We're not Rockville.
Okay, guys, thank you, everybody, that was a great session, and a lot of great feedback, and love hearing from our residents. And I appreciate everything they had to say there. And again, the record is set to close at 4 o'clock on this Friday. So now we have a second ordinance public hearing to hear from the residents on. It's the solar energy generating stations, ordinance number 233. My opening statement, thank you for that. My opening statement is, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a public hearing on proposed ordinance number 233. The proposed ordinance would amend Appendix B zoning of the Poolesville Code to add definitions and provisions for solar energy generating stations and front-of-the-meter energy storage systems in compliance with Chapter 623 of the Acts of the General Assembly of 2025 Renewable Energy Certainty Act. The file for this public hearing contains the following exhibits. Number 1, proposed ordinance number 233. Number 2, notice of public hearing. Number 3, copies of the April 7th, 2026 and April 14th, 2026 issues of the Frederick News Post containing the notice of public hearing. Any person wishing to do so may now testify or ask questions of the commissioners, which may be answered today or later by staff, about the proposed ordinance number 233. Before providing your testimony, please state your name and address for the record. Unless otherwise allowed by the commissioners, you will have up to 3 minutes to speak. Appreciate that. Let's see, we have one signee again coming up for us, and it's Zach Douglas. Is it Zach?
No, he'd said he signed the wrong one.
Okay, so we have nobody else signed up, but yeah.
Come up, say something, Jim.
No, I will ask the audience. Well, we need more testimony. Does anybody feel like providing testimony on during this public hearing? Otherwise, we'll be shutting it down, and I'll be talking about the record. I'm open to any further testimony of anybody that's in the audience, or maybe amongst the thousands of listeners that are still alive online. Okay, you, sir, come on up, state your name. I'm going to sign you in.
My name is Bill Jameson. I live in Dickerson at 912 Greenfield Road, but have ownership interest, most specifically, on a farm property on Cattail Road, which is in the Poolesville Rural Density Zone, as you guys most probably know. And this would work well for solar panels. But my question to you is, how big is 2 megawatts? How many acres of solar panels could be placed on to generate 2 megawatts of power? Now, the other thing that you may or may not know is that property on Cattail Road has 3-phase electricity running from what I call the Yule Farm all the way around to Dry Seneca Creek. So those solar panels could be plumbed into or wired into the 3-phase electricity along Cattail Road. The placement of the solar panels, which would probably create vision problems for a lot of people. They wouldn't want them that close to Cattail Road. They'd want them back more in a more southerly area near where where Dry Seneca Creek is, so that the view shed wouldn't be diminished so much on Cattail. But it would be the easiest thing to place them up along Cattail Road, or let's say 100 feet off of Cattail. The other aspect of it is that if you have, let's say, 15 to 20 acres of that 140 acre parcel, that's what that farm size is, approximately, okay? 25 acres of that with the house that Alex was living in, that has been subdivided off. You may know that. But regardless, it would be an excellent site. And what you may also think about is, could you put batteries there? Could you put storage batteries? And the reason you want the storage batteries along with the solar is so that you could have a more standard flow in the nighttime, or those batteries could be, well, I guess you store it in there and you use it so that it's a more even flow over the course of time. That's possible too, isn't it? Is that your knowledge?
Yes, yes.
All right, that's about, so how big is 2 megawatts? How many acres?
Around 7 acres.
Bill, I can tell you, we have a 1.1 megawatt system on about 6 acres at the wastewater plant.
So listen, Wade, if I do 15 acres, if I can get my family to swallow that pill, 15 acres, and then you put some batteries in there, comparable enough to do a storage, that might be something that the planning commission, the town planning commission, with their regulations, could work on, could get it up and running.
They can, also the Public Service Commission weighs in on it, and so does the Energy Power Company.
But this ordinance, as it is written, says that the Jamesons might be able to, if I can get my brothers to say, we can do this, then we may move forward. Because you remember we came before the Planning Commission. You remember that, certainly. And the Planning Commission was reluctant to do any variance at that time. You think that may change at this time?
To this ordinance, yes, as it complies with state law.
All right, guys. Thanks for your time.
That's the first smile I got from a Jameson in weeks.
All right, appreciate that, Bill. Very good. Any other testimony? All right, we're going to declare this public hearing over. Again, the record stays open till 4 p.m. this Friday on that ordinance. Commissioners' announcements and committee reports. Actually, Alan, if you don't mind, I'm going to start us off tonight.
Please.
Appreciate that. And hang on for a minute. So we've had two things to talk about, a couple of things for me to talk about. But the first one and the main one is that we lost two former commissioners of note in recent weeks. The first one was Dr. Dillingham, and the second one was Roy Johnson. Both of these commissioners, guys, people in the audience behind the desk, they really served this commission with honor over a long period of time. Both were former presidents for one stretch or another. Both were guys that volunteered their time. They volunteered their brain power. Commissionering was no fun at times during that time period. Not that it's all, not a ball of fun, and some nights too right now, but it wasn't necessarily back then. They were commissioners that were doing very important things in a very important time for the town. They shepherded in developments. They secured water. They talked about how the town could grow, not just for their time period, but for long time periods afterwards. Dr. Dillingham was a bit of a visionary when it came to working on water. He saw that water had to have, that whatever else the town did in terms of growth or slow growth, fast growth, et cetera, he was the guy that said, we've got to explore for wells. He started a well exploration and water exploration committee dedicated to just figuring out what would take place with water as time went on. You're talking about a guy that was not only involved in a number of areas in the town, especially in MML and Maryland, representing the town of Poolesville and various Maryland entities, but water really was his source, and he was good at it. And the water system that he helped develop, along with Jerry, Link, others, played a key role in all that. So he's got a park named after him, but that really doesn't do justice to the amount of impact that he had on this town. And it was a pleasure to watch him in action. He was his interplay with the other commissioners and the public was always entertaining, but also meaningful. And in talking with Wade today, and I know I've a couple of my former fellow commissioners in the audience, he always had Poolesville close to his heart and the proper direction for Poolesville. So, yeah, go ahead.
Just quickly,
Yeah.
I served with both of them, but one thing about Roy, too, that people probably don't remember is
Are you
that...
getting ready to steal my speech, by the way?
Hmm?
Are you getting ready to steal my speech?
No, I ran against both. I ran in the election with Roy and Eddie Coleman and Andy Johnson and me. So I got to know them really well, and we had 2 debates. It was a lot of fun. But Roy also was an incredible finance guy, and he really helped us get our budget system in shape for this town. I think and I think Wade will testify to that, because I think Wade was just cutting his teeth then, but he really did help the town get its financial system in order. So they both were, in many ways, had strengths that really helped the town a lot. So.
Okay, I can just wad up my, Jerry, do you want to come in and take the rest of it? I'll finish up. When you guys are done.
You're going to back clean up this time?
You do cleanup. I back clean up.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh,
man. No, I'm glad you guys are here for this. It's good.
Jerry Klobakowski again, 17300 Fletcher Hall Road, and I was the privilege to be a commissioner while Roy Johnson was. He was a remarkable man, from being in charge of construction of super tankers for mobile oil to the president of the commission. Each job he approached with diligence and attention to detail. He served during the period after the contentious, failed 1992 Saudi annexation proposal, and brought more structure to the town government, creating the first real town budget, and allowed a rookie commissioner to become its first educational commissioner to go down county and advocate for the Poolesville cluster. He was a gentleman, even in the face of some very belligerent, and I mean very belligerent, meeting attendees. He led the commission in a transition from the 20th century to the 21st century, from the contentious period, as I mentioned, with the Saudi annexation, to a more directed and focused commission. He created the structure of our current town budget and the budgetary process, and was involved with the first revision of the town code, which, by the way, had a section on liquid and liquor tanks. That was the thing. I can't remember. It was fuel and liquor tanks. It was liquor, L-I-Q-U-O-R. No mistaking. So we went into the revision of that, which we went through more subsequent revisions later on. He enabled the donation of Wayland Commons, which has become the center of a multitude of town events. And he, too, focused on growing the town, ensuring that the resources we had would support this town, not only at that time, but into the future. And I learned a lot from him, and I am better for knowing him. Thank you.
Fair enough. Thank you, Jerry. Yeah, fair enough, Jerry. Appreciate that. So with the rest of my speech now truncated, now I would just say that I was actually lucky enough to be the guy that replaced him. And I was no replacement, especially back then. But that was almost 20 years ago. And his visits, his mentorship, the amount of time that we would spend together, sometimes all cornered up in Wade's office, or other times when he would just plant himself on my front porch, tell me exactly what I was doing wrong, in a very nice way, which I appreciated and learned a lot from. And again, this is another public servant that served from another time, but he was a 12-year commissioner. His impact was before and after as a resident. And again, he was the brains of, no offense to you guys, he was the brains of the commissioners at that time, and really did bring us into the modern age in terms of our budgeting, worked very closely with Wade in developing what is still the budget that we use today. And it was very sad to hear that he was gone. He was, we just saw him, a few weeks ago. and pitching on some plan to develop something somewhere, and full of energy, full of life, and very smart guy, and was honored to serve adjoining him. So I think he sat where you sat, and then he got up, and then I took that spot. So over there at the what's now the Sweet Lemon. So, and appreciate you guys coming up and giving perspective. And they're two giants, and we're going to miss them, and good guys. So, all right, very good. That's the end of my part. I'll come on up and Pat, clean up again when it's all over with. Alan, go ahead.
All righty. This is a long one, actually.
Yeah.
See you, Jerry.
Yep, see you,
Hi, Jerry.
Existing Eagle Scout and tree planting project updates. So we currently have 3 active initiatives underway within the town for the Eagle Scouts. Jade Teeman actually recently completed her Eagle Scout project, which she installed 22 Bluebird boxes over by the solar panels. So that one is off the checklist. I have not gotten a chance to go over and look at it, but I will probably by the end of the week. I have a second one that's still getting ready to commence with the 2 park benches, one at the Pollinator at Stevens Park and one at JPMS Pond. Still have to do the small walking bridge over at JPMS, and I think I did talk to Preston the other day, and just waiting on some final materials, I think.
Someone's doing that as a project?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And then the final Eagle Scout project that will be starting soon will be the good old mural at the Waylands Commons Band Show. So hopefully we can hear from her on next Wednesday. So, and here's a new one. This Friday, Poolesville High School, Poolesville Tree Plenish Student Club will be planting 6 crabapple trees at Stevens Park Pollinator after school. So Preston and town staff will be over just to give them a little bit more of assistance on that. That starts right around 3:30. Moving on, Farmers Recognition Plaque. Just again, it's been installed for a couple weeks. Everybody out there in the gallery, please go see it. It's fantastic. It's a dedication to the farmers and the history of it, and it's just well-earned and well-deserved. Safety notes. Again, this is starting to become a little bit of a topic. Residents continue to ask me personally about the youth electric bike and motorcycle safety issues around town. Again, I strongly encourage obeying and posted speed limits, traffic signs, and especially wearing helmets within the town limits, including our walking paths. We've had some issues with them on walking paths with strollers. Again, I've seen it firsthand, so I know what's happening. I will be actually participating in an e-bike safety seminar on May 21st, hosted by the MDOT.
Nice.
So I'm going to take that on. I'm sure if you're around, we can jump on that. And that was through a little collaboration that Brian and I have started all at the MML conference last year with the DNR. We've had some fantastic conversations with them about, myriad items, especially tourism. And they're actually going to be here Spring Fest, and they have their own tent. So go in and see Emily Morrow and some of the DNR people.
That's awesome.
So,
And they're going to try and bring some material for e-bike
Absolutely.
safety and promote that as well.
That's fantastic.
so, also wanted to add runners again at night. Please wear some kind of reflective clothing or lights, and don't run down the middle of the street in the communities. Again, it's once a week I see somebody, and it's got plenty of sidewalks, guys. New one, I continue to work with the Upper Montgomery County Fire Department and Chief Smedley's office at the Montgomery County Fire and Rescue to establish the Poolesville and becoming a heart-safe community designation. It's establishing proactive steps for our residents from helping with sudden cardiac arrest with some of our runners, older bicyclists, so on and so forth. It's just not many communities in Maryland actually have it, but it's also based on a lot of criteria and protocols, such as a number of AEDs that are monitored through the fire departments, total population of CPR certified people in the community, residents, and then obviously training and so on and so forth. So making some headway came to my attention. Pack dinner. I think it was at your event, TK. Yeah. So I said the Heart Safe community. Come at the. Yep, so, so that's that. Just want to give a little community, the PES staff versus parents basketball game. Another exciting night on Friday night. The atmosphere was great. Estimates upwards about 850 to 900 people.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So, in attendance and playing, they have about 20 on the staff and 20 on the parents. So, a lot of, Link, you were there. Fantastic atmosphere. Laurie Ann came. She was invited, and she came. So she was supposed to go for a half hour and ended up 3/4. PS Media was there, so they're going to do a little story on it too. I just want to express my gratitude to the PS parents, admin, staff, their PTA, and families. Also to our PHS staff, the grill team, the booster club, principals from all 3 Poolesville schools, Doug Robbins, John Green, Mark Carruthers. Have that in total community engagement. Very unique. Very unique. So, Springfest, May 2nd, 3 to 8 p.m. Come out and enjoy a wonderful day, and entertainment and rain or shine event, guys.
It's
We
gonna
know
be
it.
sunny.
Yep. So, youth tournament, May 16th, again, coming up soon. That's over at JPMS Pond from, I think, 9 to 11. It's a couple hours, but I think last year, what do we have, Niles? It was like 60 kids or 70
Something like
kids,
that,
something
yeah, I
like
believe it was something like that. I was trying to remember. Yeah, for the fishing
Yeah.
tournament, it was
Yeah,
like
the fishing
60
tournament, yeah.
kids and then they're adults and such, so we.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's one of Preston's favorite days. Town staff updates, ball fields, restrooms, play courts, park grounds are all open. Obviously, the weather is conducive to the perfect growing season, so I know they're busy. I see the mowers around town pretty frequently. Again, I want to express my ongoing gratitude with our town staff, whether they work in the office or they work in the field. With so much happening behind the scenes, it's their dedication that truly makes the town flow pretty good. I know. And final comments, because I am almost done. We do have an opening for the Parks and Street Board.
Comment.
So please contact Town Hall if you're interested in applying for that opening. Next
Any applications so far?
Not yet, but I'll send it out again this week. So-
I should have had that in my thing today, so
Yeah.
I'll
Mhm.
read it too. Thank you for that.
I got you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Next meeting, May 6th, 7 p.m.
What's the topics of discussion in 10 words or less?
A lot. E-bikes.
E-bikes,
Bikes.
And then we're also going to talk about outdoor fitness equipment.
Yes.
Some various grants around that. So just about various different.
And some senior equipment.
Yes, exactly.
Seniors.
That's great.
So,
Okay, Niles, you took up some of Brian's time.
I'm
All right.
sorry, I'm done.
All right. Thank you, Alan, for that report. Appreciate it. Anybody have questions for Alan now? Okay. Brian?
Yeah, I wasn't at the planning commission last week, the planning commission meeting. However, they did discuss a change in the overlay zone to, I think we talked about this before, but it's about the decks encroaching on the,
Into the rear and side BRL.
the BRLs. And right now, they have to come and ask for a special exception. And that we've, under the guidance of Mr. Best, we've determined that that's not really, they don't really have a dire situation. So therefore, special exceptions don't really apply to this situation. And so we are recommending to change it so that they can actually build their decks further into the BRLs.
In the code, and it's just to make the code consistent with what it is in the multifamily zone. It's going to be the same criteria.
Right, because we're using multifamily.
It's because of the size of the homes next door, because it's in the overlay. It's the same type of scenario. It's the same setback and the same lot configuration that you would find more typically in the multifamily zone. So it's the same type of language to apply to both.
You'll see it.
So we're improving the zoning ordinance rather, so that people don't need to get special exception.
Right.
Yep.
Got it.
Which we would have granted all of them anyway, so might as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
We also received a presentation on a new state law regulating ADUs I wasn't there to see it, so.
There's some changes around what we can and can't put in as sort of regulations around ADUs. There's a model ordinance that the state has already given us. We're going to be, at the next planning commission meeting, we're going to go through and show an ordinance of what those changes actually are and
That
get
might
some
get
feedback. Yeah, the exact language.
Well, that might get pushed.
Right. Yeah.
We're probably going to be full on
Yeah.
CAD next meeting.
So if that's how you want to do it, that's how we can do it.
I'm expecting you'll hear from our
Yeah.
chairperson.
Yeah.
But yes, we that's the next step.
Yeah, but that is the next step.
All right, but I've been chatting with Lexi. This obviously, the decision tonight wasn't necessarily pre-made, but it was prepared.
Right.
And she was in support of it, and she wants the opportunity to present a more holistic view of the CAD to interested people at the next meeting and have that open discussion. So
Great.
we're going to figure out how we're going to do that logistically, but.
That's fine. We're open to suggestions. So that makes sense.
Yep.
Look forward to it. And it'll be great. I'm sure Lexi will absorb all the input that's taken place already.
Yep.
So, very good.
Yeah, we
And the
probably need to-
rest of the committee.
Do we need there's one step we talked about that I'm curious about. Do we need to have a written document to the planning commission about the feedback we've received?
We could do whatever you would like. My thought was to collect a summary of the feedback and then share it with the planning commission. That way it sort of captures it all. I started it from the previous meeting. So just sort of taking it through, and then we could do it that way.
And Stephen Kidd was here tonight. He witnessed
I
it
saw
all.
him taking notes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, from this board, I don't think we need any official notice on that, but obviously we want to make sure that all the information is cataloged, absorbed, discussed.
Yep.
And again, we'll leave this to the purview of the planning commission, but I'm sure this board is more than willing to either participate in a work session or some sort of dialogue based on, because we were all here tonight, obviously, to what direction, once you guys get it back in your hands and talk about what you want to do. So I think I speak safely for everybody on that one. All right, whichever one of you two next.
Sure, I'll go. For the Fair Access Committee, we have several candidate forums coming up. On April 27th, we have an at-large candidate forum, county council at-large candidate forum. There's a lot of candidates, so we're decided to have a second one on May 27th for the candidates who are not going to be at this first one in April. We also have an at-large Board of Education forum on May 11th. We've also continued to be a part of the county budget hearing process. We had 7 people from Poolesville testify at the county council. We're in the process of putting those testimonies together into short snippets, video clips, so that we can share them on social media. We know that the funding for the community center has made it out of committee on a 6-0 vote, which is promising. But because there's so much pressure in the budget this year, it obviously is still possible that we might face some more pressure going forward. So we'll probably also do another muster email campaign and this final push to make sure that it makes the final votes. WUMCO is in the budget, and we're still waiting to find out about the funding for Poolesville seniors. So I think that's
it?
That's it from my end.
Questions? Nope. Ed?
All right, mine's real simple. Sustainable Poolesville will meet on Wednesday.
Great.
Haven't met in a while, but we'll meet on Wednesday. And the Pick It Up Poolesville committee, that group, they went out and did a cleanup early Saturday morning.
Great. Awesome. The only thing I want to add to this is that Lincoln and I actually met with Drew Morrison who is a county council candidate for not our district, and just to get a chance to know him and see where he would lean on Poolesville issues. And he was an impressive guy, had a good meeting with him. He's running against some very stiff competition with Julie Yang in particular, but a definitely a strong candidate, and I urge everybody to get a chance to if you get a chance to get to know him a little bit. He could easily be somebody that could be a Poolesville supporter to the level that Andrew Friedson was a Poolesville supporter, even though he wasn't in our district. So, a good meetup with him. Not prepared to endorse anybody, but just letting you know that it was, we had a good conversation with him. And that's all I have. So.
The other thing is, I just want to say thanks to everybody that testified at the public hearings.
Yeah, it was great.
So, even Fair Access Link, non-commissioners, but it was great. I think our relationships.
Update on like the turf field conversations?
There's a coalition that's been formed. We have unbelievable support from a lot of different associations, and again, we had the 6-5 vote at the county council to consider putting the budget back in. That was just a consideration. They have to trim a lot, but again, we got some support, so that's all I can ask for.
The closed session.
Oh, yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate it. It's a long night. Yes, so I just want to also make an announcement, as part of my announcements, that we had a closed session on April 6th, 2026, to, as we know, we've announced already that Wade's going to be retiring from the town of Poolesville at the end of this year. The commissioners decided to pursue a process to interview potential town managers, with an interview process to take place at the end of the summer, with the idea to make a decision before the November elections. We fully informed Niles, our assistant town manager, who definitely we hope is going to be a candidate for the position, and then we'll be making public announcements in terms of that we're going to have a search process and what the search process will entail. I think I have a consensus amongst commissioners from the closed session that we will not be hiring a search committee to do this process, right? So that is the result of our closed session on April 6th. Thank you, Wade, who probably texted Niles, who. No,
I remembered on my own. Thank you very much.
Yeah, all fair. Very good on that.
I texted you, Jim.
Thank you. It wasn't on my original agenda. You know how I am, right? So that's right. All right, appreciate that, guys. Thank you for the reminder, everybody, on that. Public comment time in the meeting. Anybody else want to step up to the plate while we're here? All right, good. Approval of minutes of the April 6th meeting, 2026. Was everybody here on that one?
Yep.
Everybody was here, so we need a motion.
A motion that we approve the minutes from April 6th.
Second?
Motion made by Ed, second by Sarah for approval of the minutes of April 6th, 2026. Any questions, amendments, discussion? No? All in favor of approving the minutes of April 26th, 2026, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Okay. Motion's passed. Minutes been approved. FY 2026 paving contract award. I'm getting the 3-minute.
Yeah.
Are you going to do an intro? Is there something else I missed already?
No, I was just going to say,
Okay.
you wanted us to go over earlier. You said you wanted us to briefly explain the.
Yes, the breakdown of it, and we have did this get sent to
everybody?
everybody?
Everybody has one at their.
Yes, so feel free, Niles and John. This is all your boat. Go ahead.
Yeah. So these are 4 different projects two are connected around paving. We get $800,000 to spend on transportation funding. We do it every 2 years with the regular paving process. This is just repaving our roads. And so we have the ones that we've picked: Coalhouse Road, Elgin, West Willard, Fisher to Westerly. So that's our typical project there.
Rotation.
Yep. And then Helmholtz Park Trail, we've run into issues, which we've talked about in the Parks Board before, about tree roots invading the trails and making them less safe. This will allow us to fix that trail and allow us to deal with some of the root intrusion. And so that is just to redo that trail. It's not changing anything, just redoing it. The ferry crossing trail, so this is the part in front of the ferry crossing community. where it was done as asphalt. The change directed by the commissioners was to make that concrete. This is to have a contractor do that work.
To reiterate, that was not in the original developer's scope of work.
Correct.
The scope of work was to do an asphalt trail as we have the rest of our trails throughout the town. The Parks Board and Planning Commission agreed that enhancing that area would be a worthy spending of our taxpayers' dollars in order to enhance that trail and carry that theme in such an obvious place in Town Hall. And we did have somebody on Facebook comment, so if they're listening.
Yep, that was one.
That's the generation of that, and I also will respond on Facebook later. Thank you.
I also say,
Yeah, go ahead.
say that it was an oversight and it was part of the designation of it being part of the trail, because trails are asphalt.
Yeah.
And so once we designated that, we originally, as a planning commission, wanted that to be sidewalk, concrete, and then we designated it as part of the trail system, and so with that.
Designated asphalt.
Yes, and we didn't catch that, so.
It's all right. Very good. We have to do what we have to do.
And then the last two are combined, which is about the John Pool curb and gutter and connection. This is to connect the sidewalk that is in front of the John Pool house with the rest of the ferry crossing path that will allow walking on this side of the street, and then also make road improvements related to that for drainage and other things. And then the last part that's connected to that is the brickwork to actually redo the brick sidewalk that is in front of the John Pool house and such, due to low points and drainage areas and such. So that's just the quick summary. John has the actual bid paperwork, which are the letters in the agenda.
Okay, let's go ahead and go with the road repairs and repaving first. We had a total of 8 attendees for the pre-bid meeting, and we had 6 bids submitted. Arthur Construction was the low bid at $550,950, and the range was all the way up to $739,000 approximately.
Why didn't we pick them?
Because they were the best price, and we made all our calls to their references and also some references they didn't have. And they are predominantly a Virginia company and have done work for Leesburg, which is similar in nature to our town, and also VDOT. Everybody spoke highly of them and said they were very easy to work with. So we recommend establishment of that $550,950 as their budget, and we put in a 10% contingency of $51,000 and $7,000 for engineering and oversight, and that comes to $608,950. And we handed out a spreadsheet with all the breakdowns, and there was no particular place that was wildly different in their bid and others. So there you go. The next lowest bid was MT Laney, who we've used before, and they were at $585,000 approximately. So the spread was pretty good.
The different representation of money on the motions.
Yes, and that's because when we added it up, it's the total number on page 2 of the letter is 608,950 and 608,950 there. And then when we're going to do the motion later, it's by contractor, not by.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. Staying with Arthur Construction, we made a call on that one with 2 contractors. One was Bob Nichols and the other was Arthur Construction, since they had given us good prices before, to see where they would land.
Sure.
And we did check with Leesburg. They had done trails of similar nature for the town of Leesburg, and they gave us a price of $42,075 to redo that trail. So That's how we got to there. And then the pricing for Bob Nichols, we looked at those. We made a couple calls and asked for some pricing from both Arthur and Bob Nichols Paving. And Bob's done a lot of stuff for the town before. And we found that the replacement trail with Bob Nichols was a little bit less expensive, and we know Bob's done good work before. That's the ferry crossing trail.
Okay.
Now, it should be considered as far as proceeding with work to replace that trail. That there's still houses to be constructed out front, and if we go ahead and put the concrete trail in before those houses are constructed, they may be damaged. So you may want to hold off and wait before you go ahead and start changing that trail. And then the other portion that Arthur did not give us a price for, I think it was just a timing issue. Bob had given us a price of $44,000 to redo the curb, and which means we have to take out some wood ties, and we're expanding the edge of the curbing to the brick walkway, so it's a little bit more, and we're putting an apron in, and then also the connection for the trail coming off of Ferry Crossing. So that came in at $44,000.
Very good. Anything else? I mean, I get it. I think we all get it.
Yeah, in the
Go ahead,
brickwork,
Niles.
we've had discussions with potential contractors to do it. We don't have that number yet because we have the specific amount of brickwork will be determined as we do it.
As we go, we'll have to determine it. We have what we call in our lingo, bird baths.
Yep.
And what we want to try to do is level it up a little bit, and what the extent of those levelings are going to be.
We have had conversations about potential contractors to do that. So that's why, as the note on the spreadsheet just notes, that will be covered from the excess funds from that $800,000 that we have in the budget. So there are two motions at the bottom. One is each by contractor. So one for Arthur Construction, and then two for Bob Nichols. So it's matching it that way.
Are there any questions before I jump in?
No, thank you. Appreciate all the explanations. Clear. I think we got a game plan over here. I feel a motion coming.
I will make a motion to award Arthur Construction Company $633,025 for the FY26 paving contract and reconstruction of the Halmos Park Trail, and to set a budget of $651,025 to cover engineering and admin.
Thank you for that, Brian. Brian's made a motion, which I will not spell out again, but he has stated it clearly. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Sarah on the first motion on our paving awards. Any questions on that motion or the second? No. Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Very good.
I would
Motion
also like
passed.
to make another motion.
Oh, you're going to make two?
Yeah, I am.
Coming on.
I'd like to award Bob, I'm handing out money tonight. I would like to award Bob Nichols Paving $117,000 for the reconstruction of the Ferry Crossing Trail and the John Poole Lane project, and set a budget not to exceed $148,975 to cover the additional brickwork.
Very good. We've made a motion. Second from Sarah. Any questions on that motion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? That award has been authorized by the commissioners. Thank you, John. Thank you, Niles. Appreciate the explanation, as well as the spreadsheet on it, or summary sheet. Very, very helpful. All right, very good. That is the end of new business, as it would be. So now we get to old business, which never seems like the budget is old business, because it just seems like we do it again. We know it. So we have the FY 2027 proposed budget and tax rate ordinance number 232. You guys have seen this. We have gone over it in public. We've discussed it. We've had a work session. We've put the word out, actually, in my post today. I talked about the actual financial impact. Thank you, Alan and Dallas, for that calculation.
Yep.
For various level of houses in Poolesville. So further discussion on behalf of the commissioners is open and welcome. If you've had enough, then I'm perfectly good to take a motion.
A motion that we move forward with the budget as presented. Fiscal 2027 proposed budget and tax ordinance,
232.
number 232.
Ed has made a motion to approve the FY 2027 proposed budget and tax rate ordinance number 232.
Second.
From the seconder, Sarah. Okay, very
job
good.
tonight.
We have a motion and we have a second. Does any further discussion on that motion? None? All those in favor of the motion as presented by Ed, seconded by Sarah, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Great, thank you for that. Standards for official conduct. Ordinance number 230. Any introduction needed by staff?
So I believe Kevin was going to just go over his changes.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Kevin, we saved the best for last, buddy.
No pun intended, I'm sure.
You got it. Oh, darn.
Good evening, commissioners. I just need about 6 minutes or so to talk about this, and this is for the benefit of the public, because there's been some significant changes to this ordinance that I want to try to go over as quickly as possible. We're here to talk about ordinance 2-26, the proposed code of conduct for appointed officials. When this ordinance was introduced in February, it was actually broader. It applied to both elected officials and appointed officials, and it contained a more general prohibition on foul and abusive language. Whenever an official was identifiable as a town representative. But after the February 17th public hearing and additional legal review, we made some significant changes. The version now before you is narrower, more focused, better designed to withstand First Amendment scrutiny. Let me briefly summarize some of the key legal framework, basically for the public's benefit. The U.S. Supreme Court has established rules for when governments can regulate the speech of public employees and officials. In the Pickering versus Board of Education case of 1968, decided by the Supreme Court, the court said that when the public officials speak on matters of public concern, their rights must be balanced against the government's interest in efficient operations and avoiding disruption. Followed up with a case in 1983, the Supreme Court said in Connick versus Myers, it added an important threshold before you even get to the Pickering test. The court held that if the speech is not on a matter of public concern, for example, it's purely a personal grievance, it receives little to no First Amendment protection, and employees and elected officials and appointed officials can be censured or disciplined for that. In Garcetta versus Cabellos in 2006, the Supreme Court held that speech made as part of officials' job duties is not protected citizen speech at all. A case very near and dear to Marylanders is the Grutzmacher versus Howard County case. Was decided by the federal district court and reviewed by the circuit court, decided in 2017. It went to Richmond. It was a Maryland case and involved a fire captain in Howard County. In that case, the Maryland federal court upheld discipline and termination of a fire battalion chief, who on off duty posted social media posts that use vulgar and racially insensitive language. And because that caused disruption to morale, authority, and public trust, the court upheld his termination. I'd like to say that the Grutzmacher case, the official's off-duty social media posts included vulgarity or racially insensitivity was outweighed by what little public concern was involved. And then there's been a few cases since then in the 7th and the 6th Circuit. It brings to mind the Hedgepeth versus Britain case in the Marquette versus Carlton cases decided in 2025 and 2020 respectively, where the courts there confirmed that vulgar or derogatory speech can be regulated when it creates workplace strife or harms government operations. So with this in mind, we revised the ordinance to make it both effective and constitutionally sound. So the key changes to the February version of the ordinance include the scope. And the scope, well, let me start off by the recitals. There were 4 recitals that were stricken and 11 added, and they basically went through this litany that I just went through, restating the state of case law jurisprudence applicable to First Amendment and this issue dealing with employee or public official misconduct involving speech. The ordaining clause was modified to include reference to Article 4, where this will be codified in the town code. Subsection A added 9 definitions, a new subsection. Subsection B changed the applicability or the scope of the ordinance. It no longer applies to elected officials, it applies only to appointed officials, since Charter Section 82-12, subsection 55, authorized only removal of appointed officials. So the scope of this ordinance was changed to apply only to appointed official, which was really a gap in your law. You have an employee handbook that governs employee speech, and you have recall provisions in your charter that would provide some relief to discipline elected officials, but nothing operative to allow you to, with any teeth whatsoever, to sanction or discipline appointed officials who engage in this type of misconduct. So in order to carry forth this charter delegated authority, you have to pass an ordinance. So we get into the heart of the ordinance in subsection C, the prohibited conduct, what exactly that is. And in brief, we replaced in this ordinance a broad ban with a clear 3-part test regarding vulgar abusive language. It's prohibited only if the following 3 prongs are satisfied. 1, it is within the official duties or mixes public issues with town-related advisory matters. 2, the official is identifiable as a town representative either because he or she is identified by using his or her bio, identifying their office, by using town resources, or being widely recognized due to the individual's frequency of representing the town to the public and the composition of the audience that was aimed at with the posting or the public utterance. If it tends to be the large majority of town residents, that usually militates towards being recognizable as a town official. And then lastly, the speech causes or threatens actual disruption. So there has to be a nexus. There has to be some impact on the town before an individual who's an elected, appointed official can be disciplined under this ordinance. Next, there's a private speech protection. We added language in there to make sure that the public and the officials understood that purely private speech with no town nexus, no disruption of the town workplace or committees or boards is to be regulated by the ordinance. So even if there's a few residents who view the posting or it offends a small number of people, the ordinance doesn't apply. The incident in this case that prompted this ordinance was a posting on a semi-private or limited social media site about a public matter using vulgarities to describe federal officials that would not have been problematic under this ordinance as it's crafted today, but for the fact that the official posted in his bio online that he was a town official. So without this ordinance, that type of identifying yourself as a public official and using vulgarities in this manner would be problematic once this ordinance is passed. And then just a couple more items. The disclaimer This ordinance requires appointed officials to post a disclaimer on their posting or on their Facebook site or social media site when posting about town or public matters. And that would be used as, failure to use that disclaimer would create a rebuttable presumption, a presumption that the speech is official. So if you want to find a safe harbor as a town official, you want to use the disclaimer. But you can't use the disclaimer just to use racially insensitive remarks or slurs or vulgarities and use it as a shield. You can't do that. If you do that and it's disruptive to the town workforce, you can still be disciplined. But the disclaimer helps protect the official and make it clear to the public when he or she is talking about public comments as opposed to private comments. And lastly, enforcement. The violations are treated as misconduct in office. That's what the charter authorizes the ordinance to be about. And under the town charter, and this ordinance provides full due process protections, includes notice requirements, right to a hearing, a right to legal counsel during a hearing, and a 3-vote requirement of the governing body, the commissioners, for removal or suspension. And if the misconduct is also a conflict of interest under the town's public ethics ordinance, the ordinance allows the commission to stay its action and allow the ethics commission to handle the ethics complaint if that is considered more preferable, and it typically would be. And so this ordinance more clearly separates the kind of the joint or concurrent jurisdiction of the commission versus the ethics commission over this type of issue. And particularly when it comes to the misuse of the prestige of office. If a public appointed official in the town uses vulgarities on a town email account or other town service provided service, then that person is not only running afoul of this ordinance, they're running afoul of the public ethics ordinance, which would probably take precedence, and the commission could stand off and let the ethics commission take the case. So in short, the revised ordinance gives the town a targeted tool to address speech that actually harms our government's ability to function while respecting the strong constitutional protections for private citizen speech. We believe this version strikes the right balance between protecting the town's interests and respecting individual rights. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Any commissioners? Open to discussion here.
That was just thorough. I appreciate you running through that, Kevin.
Sure, my pleasure.
I do have a question. I know, sorry to interrupt, Sarah. I know you probably ready
I
to
do
chime
too, but go ahead.
I just have a question about the, if said public official were to engage on a private email address, but use a office title as part of their tagline or their, their sign off, their signature, would this ordinance be applicable, and would it be subject to the same penalties that you've described? Private
it would depend on whether the ultimate question is a nexus question. Does it disrupt the efficiency of the provision of town services? Does it disrupt the workforce? Does it disrupt the committees or the boards or commissions that these appointed officials sit on? Does it cause any strife? Does it cause complaints? If it has that sort of tangible impact, then it would be a violation. Typically it'd be a violation, but you all, as the governing body, adjudicating, sitting as a kind of a quasi-judicial body, would have to, take in evidence, take in testimony, and make findings of facts and conclusions of law to show that. So, there'd be full due process involved. This is not a legislative proceeding. This is a quasi-judicial proceeding, and you would have the town attorney or legal counsel present to advise you how you go forward to this, with this, and there would be parties, and there would be cross-examination, there'd be a hearing, and this would probably be something that happens once in a blue moon, I'm sure.
Right.
But the facts that gave rise to this ordinance a few months ago, those facts would have run afoul of the way this ordinance is written now. Because even though it was a quasi-private website with had limitations on who could view or follow, the individual held themselves out as a town official.
Understood.
And I think it remains to be found whether the nexus can be established. We won't get that far. We haven't got that far to ascertain that. It's a moot point because, we can't enforce this ordinance retroactively. It has to be enforced in the future. So, but if that ever matches itself again, is replicated, we'll have to, as a body, ascertain whether there's some sort of disruption or negative impact on the town to finally determine whether there'll be a censure, a suspension, or a termination from office.
Great.
But I think the bottom line is, a lot of Americans think that the First Amendment is sacrosanct, and you can say anything you can. But when you're a town commissioner, when you're the governor, when you're even the president of the United States, or when you're a town attorney, you don't have an carte blanche to say anything and everything. There's still plenty of things that are not protected by the Constitution, like defamation. You can't commit defamation. Typically, there are some immunities for elected officials during town meetings to be protected against defamation claims, but certainly we all know that you can't go out and freely use vulgarities or obscenities, and obscenities is something far more serious than a vulgarity. You can't go into a crowded theater and cry fire and cause a panic and cause injury that way. You can't use fighting words against someone and provoke a breach of the peace. You cannot, as I said, use slander or libel and get away with that indiscriminately. There are plenty of things you cannot say as an American in a public forum. And one of them is if you're an employee, an elected official, or an appointed official, you cannot divulge or talk about, you can't mix public concerns with private concerns. You can't voice your grievances about the chain of command. For example, as an employee, you're going to be treated just like a private employee in that case and be subject to discipline.
Got it. I'm good with that, but Sarah, go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate the intent behind this ordinance. I still have concerns about how broad it is. I would love to see some more definitions of, in this specific situation, this is what we mean by vulgarities, this is what we mean by obscenities, this is what we mean by a public forum, like what constitutes a public forum. I think I have concerns about passing something that could potentially be misused in the future. So I just want to be really thoughtful about how we set it up. And then I also think that there needs to be, whenever somebody comes on as a new volunteer or a new appointee, there needs to be some type of training. Like, we don't really have any official training or handbook for appointees or volunteers. There needs to be some type of more official training that says, like, hey, if you are going to speak on behalf of the Parks Board, have a Alan at Poolesville Parks Board Facebook page or something. and keep your public separate from your personal. Like, I know, Jim, you have a very like fluid government and personal Facebook where you are often speaking on behalf, or as the president of the commissioners. And so you would need to maintain, this impartiality and all that. But I think some education for current existing members and future appointees on how to wisely keep your public and your personal social media in particular separate. And then when we're talking about public forums, are we talking about like in my friend's backyard and it's full of my friends, but they also live in the town and I'm speaking? And is that, can that be used as a public forum, or is that not? So I would just like some more like definitions, so that we keep our scope narrow and clear.
Kevin, so a question for you as to everything that Sarah just said. What is the status of, say, a backyard conversation, or even something that could be, the equivalent of Sarah standing on a soapbox in her own backyard talking to fellow residents and using vulgarity during that soapbox statement, as she is known to do.
Yeah, as she is known to do.
Well, let me say that I think there were 9 new definitions added. An effort was definitely made to add some very concise definitions to this ordinance. I think this is not necessarily a public forum ordinance. This is about speech on social media and in the public, but it doesn't get into separating public forums from non-public forums, street, soapbox, that sort of thing. But to go to the question most at hand by the commissioner, it's in paragraph 5 of section E on page 6. It's really answered there. It basically says that purely private use slurs or profanities with no nexus or impact to the town's business or workplace environment are not regulated or forbidden under the scope of this section, even if the speech is visible or perceived by a limited number of public, for example, on social media or said in public place, and even if it offends people who may see or hear it, unless the speech leaks or spreads in a manner that causes disruption in the town, and I mean the town's workforce, committees,
I'm not looking at the same thing.
instrumentalities, bodies. So,
Did you say that was E number 5 under E, the section E?
yes, E5, perceptibility to a few
three. I'm only seeing three sections. I feel like I'm not looking at the same version that you're talking about.
Well,
We only have 3 points after section E.
well, we have, the version that you should have was prepared on March 6th.
Yeah, we have February.
We have February 2nd.
Well, then that's a problem. Then you have the wrong version.
I was going to say, I'm just not seeing the same things that you're talking about.
Yeah, you should have an ordinance that has Article 4, Section 2.31, subsection A, with 9 definitions, subsection B, which is 1 small paragraph, subsection C, which is made up of
Okay, thank
3 paragraphs, a disclaimer rule, subsection D.
Just, so I think there is a question of which, it's definitely not the same one that they're looking at is on the website.
Public has also?
I think this is, so,
So we're
so why don't we just table it and then, we can look at it again. I don't know.
So Kevin, I appreciate you bringing it all along. That's fine. And I was following along as best I could, but Sarah's right. We don't have the latest document. This isn't something that's a pressing matter that had to be taken care of tonight. So what I'd like to do is ask town staff to put this on the agenda again, circulate the proper document to us next, before the next meeting, with plenty of time for consideration by the commissioners. We table it to go to old business once again for the next meeting. And does anybody have an objection to that request?
No, sir.
Okay, Kevin, you good with that? Wade, Niles, good with that?
I found the appropriate one. I'll print out copies just so that you can have it before we leave.
Okay, great. Or just email it to us.
Email's fine.
Yeah.
Save the trees.
Yeah, so Kevin, great presentation, and we were still doing a great job of carrying along, even though we were looking at old documents. Appreciate the commissioners for their perseverance as we made it through that part of it. And then we've already decided to table that and put it on the agenda for the next meeting. All right, very good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, appreciate that. Town manager's report?
Oh, Wade, did you want to go? Yep.
Real quick on the sewer line rehab we talked about at the last meeting on Route, down by Wooten Avenue on Fisher Avenue. They did some PVing of the line and cleaning of it, and John could probably give me an update on it, but I think that the line may have to be dug up. It may not be suitable for a relining project. John, do you have anything on that?
John stepped out, but I talked to him earlier about this, and he thinks there's a chance that it will still be relined, but they're reviewing the information.
Oh, okay, well, that's good. Okay.
Just about the relining on Fisher.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
I was locking doors. So we did have some structural failure. I'm waiting for the response from the lining crew. They kind of think they can, but that wall is very, very thin, so it may have some little humps and bumps in it, but it should be towards the top of the pipe, and if it's just at the top, we're not going to worry about that. We're waiting for a response from the vendor to see if they're comfortable putting the liner in.
Okay. Good. Now, do you want to talk about that email stuff today?
Yes, that was the one thing that I wanted to talk about is, so we did have an email that was sent appearing to be from the town. It was not from the town. It was not due to an intrusion into our system. What we think, based on our early assessment, is that somebody tried to basically spoof our email. So they sent an email posing as the town, probably through a vulnerability in Google itself, which is who we use for our email. There's other businesses that also had issues, so there seems to be some overlap in those issues. Regardless, we are evaluating what happened and to see if there's any improvements we can make, but we quickly did things like change passwords and things like that. If you did receive the email and if you did click on the link itself, the best recommendation is to change your password and run a malware check on those type of things to ensure that no issues happened. But we are working, I've been working with the state on cybersecurity issues and things, and we'll discuss this with them as well.
This didn't come through like a Meridian?
No.
How
Inside
widely
joke for
reported was this?
people.
We had dozens of people call us almost immediately.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Did not get it.
And so,
Maybe it was filtered out by spam. I don't know.
and it's possible that happened. It's also possible if you have a firewall on your own home system that it could have caught it as well. But as I said, there was no indication of any intrusion into our system. So it seems to have been something like that. So.
Fantastic. Wow. Thanks for the alert. Yeah, we circulated that pretty quickly today, so hopefully everybody got a piece of that. More town manager report?
You have anything else, Wade?
That's it for now.
Perfect.
Okay, so Wade, thanks for that. Niles, thank you for your contribution. John, you too on the contracts. Thanks for staying so late. Kevin, thanks for the thorough explanation. We followed along as best we could with the wrong document. Appreciate that, but we'll catch up to you on the next one. And then I believe, Kevin, you're not available on our next meeting, so I think we will wait for the next meeting after that to put this on the agenda.
Second May meeting. I believe that would
Second
be.
meeting in May?
Yeah, because it's the first Monday and then the third Monday is our meeting, so.
And Kevin, you're on our schedule for that third meeting, the third Monday in May? He's looking. Just checking. Calendar's up.
18th, yep.
May 18th. Kevin, does that look good for you?
You're muted, Kevin.
Yes, that is good for me, Mr.
Okay,
President.
great. So we're going to table that discussion until the May 18th meeting. All good. Okay, guys.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion second by, not the seconder.
Third.
Motion by Brian, second by Ed, third by Sarah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. We are officially adjourned. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I was thinking about
All right, see ya.
Our latest
Yeah.
I was thinking about opposing that.